Can talk.
All right, talk, talk, talk.
Make
Talk,
noise,
talk,
talking. Hello,
talking.
hello, hello, talking.
Wah.
Wham,
All right.
wham, wham.
Kel's talk, not David.
Talking. I'm talking, speaking, making noises.
All right, we're good.
Good chatting. Yeah,
We are good.
cool.
Let's see. All right, you ready to jump into it? Let's just go into it.
Hell yeah. Jump into my nuts.
Welcome to the Brews Podcast, episode number 263. I'm Adrian. That's David. That's Kels. I'm feel like I just out the gate have to say why Games Gone By hasn't been a thing edited because I realized far into the process of us doing that I think I had the wrong logo on every episode, thus.
Oh,
So I have to re-edit those, and then also I've noticed that it's not start recording immediately talk, it's start recording talk in like 2 seconds, and that's the beginning of the podcast, which makes every podcast come up a little choppy. And I don't want to edit. That's mainly it. I was like prepared to be like, all right, I can do all this. There was a point where I'm like, as long as I can incorporate like videos and do all that like on the fly on like the Stream Deck or something, which is possible, I would do that just to avoid the editing process. Because spoiler alert, it was tough back when we did this because it was just me babysitting downloads and uploads and editing, exporting, and it was annoying. Anyway, this is our video game podcast. We go live on youtube.com/@BlueRupees every Tuesday. We talk about video games. We're going to talk about Deadpool and Wolverine today. And then also that thing I was talking about, Games Gone By, it'll come back someday. It's our video game book club. We'll figure it out.
One day.
I promise. And
It will return.
when it happens, it'll be a process in which I feel comfortable with us just doing it, having the process editable, like not needing to be edited, and then we could do that.
It's simple, we just don't edit it.
Pepperoni in chat. Really quick, if you want to shoot your roster to us next week, go for it. But it will be we'll start out the gate with the Deadpool Wolverine spoilers. So yeah, you're gonna have to miss at least the first half of this. Yeah, because we'll just get that out of the way. We'll talk about other stuff afterwards. But yeah, it will be Deadpool and Wolverine. In fact, I'll probably make something on this screen. Let's see, just for the people out there who I know are can't quite make it.
yeah. Keep the stream up, but mute it, and David will blow you a kiss whenever it's cool.
Yeah, so just watch intently.
Yeah, just keep it up in like a corner or something, and just as soon as you see that's when you know.
Right.
How should I do this? Spoilers for Deadpool and Wolverine. I'll have this on the on the podcast screen until we are done. That way, if you were watching it, you can just skip through until that is gone, and you'll be safe.
Right there. Oh.
Right on top of David's face.
Right.
Cool. All right. Not happening this second. Actually, you know, let's talk about this. Let's just do it. All right. Deadpool Wolverine spoiler talk. The way I like to do this is I want to get like 1 minute tops, first quick impressions, give like a spoiler list review, I guess, right? Doesn't really make sense because I'm already telling you to get out of your spoilers. In fact, I'll just make it disappear for a second. Give me your 1 minute non-spoiler review, and then we're just gonna dive full into just everything we want to talk about. Kel, start us off. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought this was a comic book ass movie, and I think it's unfair how comic book movies get judged in comparison to some other movies, but I think a lot of them do have overinflated budgets, so they do need a little bit of critique now and then. But great movie, loved it.
Nice. And I think I should say we'll probably talk about Marvel Comic-Con stuff while we're at it too. Make all that lumped in.
That kind of ties into what I've been playing this week too.
Yeah,
so.
Nice. David.
Hell yeah. For me, this movie was not quite what I was expecting, but in the best possible way. And this film left me with the same sense of closure that Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 did. And that was not a feeling I was expecting to have leaving the theater. So fucking kudos to it.
All right. It was, I mean, I know No Way Home kind of achieved it, but I think this was even further. It was the
this was
closest
way
I.
better.
What was that?
I think this was way better.
Yeah,
Agreed.
but it was the closest I felt since Endgame, where it felt like a communal crowd experience. I immediately had to go for day 2 because I want the crowds.
Yeah.
I wanted to go
I
again,
regret
but
not doing that.
yeah. So I went twice. I'm going again tomorrow with a bunch of former students. Because one of them's already watched it twice, and they sent me the cup, and I'm like, if you want round 3, let me know, because I'm in. And he just goes back, I think I'm in. I'm like, cool, let's see what we can get for tomorrow. So we're gonna do Screen X for the sides. But sorry, to wrap it up, I think it was not what I was expecting in a solid way, where I thought we were gonna go a whole. I think David and I are kind of on the same boat here, where I thought I was gonna go a whole different direction, but it went this other way that I appreciated a lot more. So I'm glad that they took that thing that way there, and I think this Guardians are the two I feel like the most solidified as these are movies that we deserve after Endgame type quality.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. Guardians 3 also had a very good like cap off, good ending there.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to waver now if you because this is not. I don't even know if they said it was Deadpool 3 at the beginning, and then kind of like said it's not really Deadpool 3, and I kind of agree it's not really Deadpool 3, but it's gonna be kind of wagered as that, and I think among the trilogies now, I think it bats up pretty high up there with I think Guardians probably has the strongest of the 3 from beginning to end, but yeah. I think that'd be kind of fun to test out the trilogies of the MCU and see where they land.
I was about to say Captain America is super strong.
Captain America, I
Winter
think
Soldier, Civil War, and First Avenger.
First Avenger,
all
I think, is super
solid.
underrated.
Very.
Yeah.
I think the Spider-Man movies are good, but I think they just got carried too much into like we really have to have Spider-Man with someone else. Like put him with Iron Man, put him with Doctor Strange. I'm like, let him just do something on his own. Let's just have our own just Spider-Man, which I'm hoping the next one is.
Far From Home.
Yeah.
It still leaned heavily on the Tony Stark aspect of it. You know, it's like I want him to just be Spider-Man without any ties and just rock it. Let's just see how it goes.
I think that's where they kind of left it off. So
especially with that suit at the end, which I hope they keep.
Yeah.
It's clean.
I think that's what my big fear. Not to sidetrack, but I still want them to like erase what they've done. I feel like they've left it at like a good point, starting out pretty much at 0. He's low point Peter.
Right.
Let him be that dude.
It's and yeah, we don't have spoilers. Sorry, it's fine right now. I think it's smart because they literally just reset the entire character of Peter Parker, and they can reintroduce him, get him to the point where everyone knows who Peter Parker. It can literally be exactly how it is before the ending, right? Just everyone knows who he is, and it's fine. But let's redo it again, and now that we've established him, let's build him back up to gain his confidence and come back as a more confident, more leader Peter Parker.
Well, not only that, but they set him up for like a bunch of like really beautiful moments. Like we can have the moment earnestly now where Ned does turn against him, where we get like a Harry Osborn moment.
Right.
We can get like a reintroduction to, I forget what she goes, Michelle Jones, and maybe she'll be going by MJ now.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we could get like a complete reset and kind of set things the way that the neckbeards were getting upset about it first and make everyone happy. Write a good story. Marvel hire me, I guess. I don't know.
I'd do it. I'd hire you.
We wouldn't get paid a lot, but I would love to be in a writer's room for that.
For sure.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna pop this up here. We're going to talk full spoilers. Deadpool Wolverine. Once that's off, then we're good. Holy shit! What a movie.
Yeah. From the opening fucking sequence.
Yeah.
Like Jesus Christ.
Bro.
I don't know why I didn't.
Laughing.
I don't know why I didn't. I forgot to, because my partner hasn't wanted to watch Logan because she is the kind of person that. No, here's the thing. It's the unfortunate thing that if something is so hyped up beforehand, she loses interest. So she hasn't seen Logan
worthy
yet.
of the hype, though. There's not many movies that I feel are like, all right, people are kind of hyping it up a bit, but like
I think it's overhyped, so I'll be the contrary.
Really?
Oh wow, really? Fascinating.
But you like, are you a fan of the Fox movies at all, or is it just
No.
okay?
Like I
That's
do have
fair.
So
like I have fond memories of the original X-Men trilogy.
Yes.
And then outside of that, just like I think they've all been just kind of doo-doo trash, just kind of really bad.
So-
First Class was pretty
Yes.
good. I like First Class, just the concept. I think a lot of it was poorly executed. R.I.P. My boy Darwin did him dirty. Should not have been able to be killed, but whatever. But yeah, outside of that, I think it's all been kind of doo-doo.
here's something funny. I've only seen the first X-Men, and I've seen Logan. I've
Mhm.
not seen. I've never even seen Days of Future Past, but I really want to.
Yeah.
I will go through them eventually. But I had only
I-
just seen Logan, and I think Logan as its own movie.
Sure,
Holds
I
up.
can see that.
Yeah,
Especially if you
Logan
have, like,
is phenomenal.
yeah, because all it requires you having is like a concept of what the X-Men are. Like as long
Yeah.
as you know, like
As long as you know who Professor
superhero
X is,
team,
you know who
yeah.
Wolverine is, and as long as you just listen up and kind of see what's happening, I think you're fine. And I was totally fine. I didn't watch superhero movies back because that was 2017.
Yeah.
And I think that was in the middle of me just starting. No, I wasn't even on the Marvel train yet. I had just started watching all of them. I'd only watched Guardians at that point ever, and then I started watching them with Gore in the beginning of 2018. But at that point, I'd seen Ragnarok. But yeah, so I didn't really care about superhero movies. I like Dark Knight a lot, but I don't know. I fuck with Logan. I think the tone. I think tonally it hits. I think it tells its own coherent story. But
Sure, like I don't hate the movie at all, but I do think it is overhyped.
interesting. Sorry to interrupt, David. So that happened.
Not having seen that and then starting off right at the end of the movie and then hour being like, all right, so many people are wondering how we're gonna go ahead and handle dealing with the end of Logan. And we're not. We're gonna fucking literally defile the corpse. Let's go.
I think
What a way to start.
I think New Rockstar is actually kind of because some people were kind of upset about it. I understand, but I think New Rockstar's kind of had a pretty eloquent take on it, which is when he's dug up, the bones are still intact, so it feels like he never quite got away from that adamantium curse. But Deadpool just
Yeah.
breaking everything and spreading it kind of feels like, oh, he did manage to just break that off and let him rest. I thought that was kind of a really nice way of going about it. But yeah, I as soon as that started, I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. And let me tell you, brothers, as an Instinct fan, you can play the first millisecond of that song and I know exactly what it was. So as soon as I heard the first strings, I just immediately look over to the girlfriend. I'm like, oh fuck, no way. Now, what happened in my screening was that the IMAX viewing was fucked, so it was like flickering.
Oh no.
And for Guardians, like I said, I was watching Screen X, and one side was Dungeons and Dragons. Guardians, I ran my ass out and told them, and they fixed it. I was in the back.
yeah.
I was in the back of here, and it was Deadpool Wolverine. I'm like, look, I know for a fact I did the sacrifice play, and I missed the very beginning of Guardians, which was the great rocket part. I missed the very very beginning of it. I can rewatch it again, but I was like, I did my part last movie. Someone else has to go. So I'm looking around. I'm like, I'm not getting up. I'm in the middle of like the back row. I'm not getting up and doing this. Someone else, please. And luckily, some other people ended up doing it. But I'm glad because I would have been livid if I had walked out and walked back in on that scene because that is my favorite opening of any Marvel movie. Just like that you couldn't write a more me scene like that. That is like verbatim what I would have written in a script, and it's so funny.
It's kind of crazy. I feel like each of the Deadpool movies are like 1, 2, and 3 are like contesting for like top openings in the Marvel movies. They're all extremely good.
It was so good, dude. Just and I'm like, oh, they played almost the entire song too. I thought it was gonna be like a quick just a quick gag. I was like, no, it was a full fight scene. They're like, hey, here's blood on snow. Here's everyone getting fucked. Here's some sex jokes, and let's just fucking do it. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're in. Like this is Disney saying, all right, we were gonna make it PG-13. Everyone said fuck you, make it R. Okay, and thank you. Shout out to everyone that did your part. Biggest R-rated opening of all time. Disney,
Again,
I think
bullying companies worked.
I think this needs to be a
This one released in China as well.
oh nice. That's the first one in a while then, huh?
Yep.
I
Well,
imagine the
did
script
they-
was heavily edited for China.
Yeah,
I
that's
can
why
only imagine.
Yukio and Negasonic didn't kiss.
Well, that and like you can't have skeletons in Chinese media, so that whole beginning part with Logan, where they changed that.
Mm.
But what was I saying with that? I think this should be a sign that I think companies start realizing that the media you've like marketed to, those people have grown up, and we appreciate something outside of PG-13. Like, let us have
Well, we
something
said
fun on that.
we said we'd talk about Comic-Con later, but it's to be noted. I guess Feige's mentioned that Blade would be rated R as well too. So
He let every actor have their own f-bomb on stage. So I think they're gonna start embracing that. I think they really should.
good. Yeah.
Um,
There's
Well,
room
no-
for kiddie stuff. There's room for mature stuff.
'Cause, like, they have that
shouldn't pigeonhole
they have like
themselves.
the cartoon, like the Squirrel Girl stuff and all that. Like, that's fine. That's great. Like, let the R-rated people like have our stuff too. Like, those fans are gonna grow up and want to watch that too. They're probably gonna grow up. They're gonna probably not gonna grow up. They're gonna watch it anyway. Like, it does like just.
Oh yeah, I weirdly had a lot of kids in my theater for Deadpool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. On the scale of things that I'd worry about, that's not a movie I would worry about. But yeah. So I think that was great. Opening scene was great. What are some highlights? I mean, I feel like there's a lot of like obvious highlights, but what are like some of your like top moments? Like, you guys are like, oh fuck, because I know mine. My biggest one was me yelling out when fucking Blade walked around that corner. I am flabbergasted that did not leak, and that was
Yeah.
kept under wraps.
All the fucked up, honestly.
Yeah, I think besides Elektra, that final trailer they released, fuck them for that, because they revealed that Laura was going to
I
be in the
did see
movie
that
in one.
afterwards, and I would have been
Yeah,
pissed
that
about
pissed
that.
me
I'm
off.
glad I didn't watch that.
And supposedly that's because she wanted to be at the red carpet,
Which
and in order to do that, they kind of had to.
you can just say I'm supporting my friend. Like, what the fuck
Yeah,
ever? Who the
exactly.
fuck cares?
She was just in the Acolyte. She's Disney adjacent, anyways. Like, yeah, she's
They
on the
should have
red
just
carpet.
invited a bunch of the old Fox people and just be like, all right, we're just getting a bunch
Sure.
of the fans to get out here. Like, fuck it.
Right. Or yeah, or have her with Hugh or something. I don't know, something cute.
She
Who
was
cares?
lying a lot about that one. She's a pretty good liar on camera.
Yeah,
But
she
like,
said that she looked up to Andrew Garfield. On,
Yeah.
like how to lie about
mm,
it. Well, oh yeah, and then I guess Elektra, like Jennifer Gardner, like confirmed somewhere that she was in it, or something came out that she was going to be in it. But other than that, yeah, Gambit and Blade, that shit, it's so crazy. I can't believe they got that. They kept that shit hidden.
bro, Gambit went hard. Like, shout
Yeah.
outs to the Gambit fans out there. You guys got the exact thing I think you guys have wanted for a while, and it was clean. The accent was fucking hilarious. I can understand a thing in
was
it.
so fucking
It
funny,
felt like
yeah.
14 different accents at times. But holy shit, the effects were fucking incredible, dude. Seeing just that whole like the guards where he does that, just starts throwing them at them and just start getting them to explode. I'm like, that's so sick.
I was really scared that they were gonna get X-Forced,
Oh.
especially whenever Gambit started talking and he was making fun of him. I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh no, this is a Shatterstar
So,
situation."
this is
he's gonna go into
exactly-
the propellers.
This is exactly what I think Dave and I were kind of saying at, where maybe we're not, but I always felt going into this was going to be a Deadpool kills the Fox
Yeah,
universe.
Fox Universe.
And it's
Kinda
Yeah.
I thought, and they kind of it felt almost like that for a second, right? Because Deadpool does the whole like "fuck you, Fox, I'm going to Disneyland." It felt like it was gonna be like a whole like middle finger, like, all right, let's just make fun of all this and move on and go to the MCU. But I am so
Exactly.
glad. I'm so glad it didn't, because it really felt like people are saying there was less heart in this, and maybe I got to go back and watch the other
Yeah,
ones.
there's so much heart in it.
It's because it's not a Deadpool 3, it's Deadpool and Wolverine, right?
And I think the cool thing about this, like a lot of the heart was directed in a weird manner in the last ones. Like the big complaint with 2 was like they fridged Vanessa and had to kill her off in order to give him like a story to go, a hero's adventure to go on, and that
Yeah.
was where the heart was. And that's kind of weird, but that's the situation you put him in. But I feel like this one's natural. Like he has a longing to want to be wanted. He wants to be. He has a piece of him missing that he needs to figure out what the fuck's going on with him. So it's kind of introspective in a way, and I love seeing that. It for me, it's more heart to it than having to depend on writing another character
On
in
a
weird
trope.
way.
Because this was a real thing, right? Like it was like literally like just take yourself fourth wall for a second. Deadpool was the exile. He was not allowed in the X-Men universe. He was not allowed in the MCU. He
Which,
genuinely
funnily enough,
was.
this places Logan now for us. We know exactly where it all happens
Right.
because Deadpool was placed. They gave him the exact unit, like timeline that he's in as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he always felt like the outcast, right?
Yeah,
But
sure.
it's great that they've like that's a real thing. And I think that dude, Hugh going off on Deadpool in the car is such a
That's one of my favorite scenes. Like I was talking to my buddy
That was
about this,
vicious.
and the moment that they meet Nice Pool up until like that whole section of the movie is so fucking good. Like I was just grinning and laughing like the whole time. There's always something going on, something to make me laugh. The whole like Honda Odyssey bit that they set up from him working at the car lot.
I got that on the second one. I didn't realize it.
So fucking good. And then they set it up further whenever they go back to his universe and they land on the car. It's like, oh, this feels like a Kia Carnival. It's so good, and it's really good writing.
But yeah, no, that part like it's cool because it's like Hugh Jackman could have phoned it in, right? He could have been like,
Oh, for sure.
all right, but like there's parts where he really took this character as its own Wolverine. Like he channeled parts of himself in where he was, in other parts.
Yeah.
And dude, that monologue that he gives Deadpool is so scathing, and it's cool because like someone pointed it out, and I actually really agree with it. I'm glad Ryan Reynolds is not one of those actors that's like, I need to show my face all the time, because we've talked about
Yeah.
that, right?
No,
He-
that's awesome.
Yeah.
He's like, you know what? I am Deadpool. So yeah, I'm gonna take it off every now and then, because yeah. But like he keeps it on most of the movie, right? But like that part where he's like
Yeah.
getting yelled at, that would have been a moment for sure that he could have taken it off, could have had the actor emote, do his thing, and then all right, put it back on. I'm gonna fight you now, right?
Well, that's the crazy thing too. Like you even see it through the mask.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I know a lot of it's CGI, but a lot of it is like his like he has to move his head. He has to like
His
move
eyes
shoulders
close a little
away to
bit, like
convince it.
he winces
Yeah,
at it. Like and that's what you can
exactly.
do as
Sells
an
it.
actor.
Yeah.
We all appreciate you being in the mask, and you can still emote, and that was like just the most subtle, like head turn, wince, and then head back, like snap back when he was still talking, right? It's like
Mhm.
that was so solid, and that was an amazing scene.
And I just love his reaction too. The I'm gonna fight you.
And it
dude."
was it
So
wasn't like a
good.
Yeah.
funny, it wasn't like yeah, like some people laughed at that, but that was like not really. It led to a joke, but
Yeah,
like that like little buildup wasn't
very serious.
a joke. Like he's like hurt,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna fight you now." And it was like
yeah, I have nothing else. Yeah, because he asked him, "What are you gonna say now?" I don't have anything.
the
to
merc
say.
with the
I just wanna
mouth
fight."
literally
Just have-
couldn't respond back, so he had to fight. And it's like the only time in the whole like trilogy now that like he couldn't say anything,
Yeah.
right? And that was amazing. Like a shout outs to the writing team on that, like the whole thing. Like we talk about how that was in the midst of the writer's strike, but like I was worried about that going into it too. I was like, oh, if you can't improv and stuff, I mean, I feel like wink, wink, nod, nod. Like I feel like I'm sure, right? But
I always feel like this has to be like a cathartic series for people to work on.
I
and
feel like it too because it's like it has a lot of teeth to it at times, but at the same time, like it's not taking itself seriously. So you can like throw shots at yourself if there's nothing else to write.
But they
There's
can
a lot of
also-
filler
it's-
that you can do.
yeah, but it's also vocalizing their upsetness with everyone else, right?
Yeah.
The fucking Henry Cavill part will treat you better than those fuckers down the street, right?
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, like you're vocalizing how much you're upset at things too in the writing.
Man, and I just wish that we like the patch. I wish we could see more of that, or like the Wolverine that was fighting the Hulk. Like some of those moments, like oh no, take me
We'll
back.
get
Oh,
that. We
please.
will get that.
Well,
Yeah.
That will
more
happen.
Things supposedly Hulk versus Wolverine is a thing that's in the works now. So
I would like
Who
just
knows?
everything's all right. Yeah, he's gonna play that role until he's 90, right? Shout outs to that.
But the real question is, will we ever know why Thor's crying?
So
I was talking about that too. I was like, ooh, I
That-
wonder if they're setting that up.
yeah, so
It was a
if,
good
like,
running joke though.
if they
regardless.
left it like that and just never said it again, okay, that's a haha gag, whatever. But like the fact they kept bringing it up, it's not a gag anymore. It's like all right, guys, like here's your Chekhov's gun. Like we'll see you guys in about 3 years with Secret Wars. So it's totally gonna happen again. Like there's no shot that doesn't.
Yeah, and so they set it up a few ways too. Like Deadpool and Secret Wars would be awesome, And because also fast forward to the end of this movie, we get the whole revelation of every Deadpool has a Peter.
Mhm.
So in the comics, his Peter is named Bob. It's Hydra Bob. Um, and so for them changing it to Peter, I feel like they have the perfect chance for a joke too in Secret Wars with Deadpool. Like maybe he has another Peter, Peter
And it's
Parker.
Parker. Yeah.
Yep.
Especially where we just had him play, pretend to do the spider webs there.
Yep. Because that's a long running like joke in the comics too. Like Peter usually gets along with anyone and is always cracking a joke, but he just does not like Deadpool. But Deadpool loves Peter,
That
and he's
tracks.
just like the one character that Peter just cannot vibe with.
Especially because it just seems like there's gonna be a bigger place for Peter in all this.
Oh, for
Which
sure.
is funny because right, like I
But
feel like
which
that must be
Peter?
weird for Disney because there's rumors of like who's the anchor being in the MCU. People are saying now.
That does feel like they mentioned that in a very specific way, like they were doing with Wanda being a Nexus being and stuff like that. You know?
Right. People are saying it's gonna be Peter. I don't know if I just don't. I'm confused that Disney really putting all their eggs into a basket that Sony owns, right? Um, so like I mean yeah they give a lot of importance to him, but like people are saying like he's gonna play a big role, and I'm like that's cool if he does, but I'm just surprised Disney's gonna let it slide because
Well, they have a chance to
I
wipe it all away too, right? Because Paradox
yeah.
isn't a reliable narrator. He was the one giving all this information, but he was full of shit in the first place. So it could have been like what he was wanting to say, how he was wanting to present it, type of thing.
Well, it's a situation where I imagine they wouldn't be making those kinds of like setups if there wasn't already some long-term deal in the works
Yeah,
or already in effect even.
yeah, because supposedly this movie's been rewritten quite a few times, and that's why there's 5 writers on it, like attributed to it.
I wonder if this was a planned thing or if it was kind of like the James Gunn Bucky arm fuck you that he did to everyone, which the backstory there was uh they didn't give James Gunn a heads up that he was gonna have Thor. They just kind of just like said, all right, here you are, and he's like, okay, like thanks for telling me. And so his little send off to everyone goodbye was, all right, fuck you, I'm gonna do something that you guys are right about now too. Fuck it, Rocket stole Bucky's arm, figure it out. So we'll see how that lands up. But yeah, so that's gonna play a role. So it's cool because we're gonna have more Deadpool, and really this didn't kill off anything, which is like really weird, right? Like I was sure this was
Yeah.
gonna be a whole like, all right, we're gonna kill something off, and then we're gonna be in just solo MCU.
I mean,
but like it's
technically,
not.
Johnny Storm, we killed Johnny Storm.
Yeah.
Dude,
He
I
killed
knew it.
himself,
I
come
saw
on.
it. I saw
He
it.
did that.
I was waiting. I'm like, I've been waiting years for Marvel to make this joke. This is the one time they would make that joke.
I was laughing because I was watching Blind Wave react to some of the Marvel announcements, and they have not seen Deadpool and Wolverine, which I'm like kudos because they're gonna save it for themselves to watch as a whole to react to it, which I'm like
That's
kudos.
crazy.
And they've avoided spoilers, but it was so funny because they were talking about like Secret Wars, like, oh, but I mean that's gonna be our moment, right? We're gonna have like Chris Evans gonna come in here, he's gonna say "Flame on," and everyone's gonna freak out. It's gonna be crazy. And I'm just like sitting back, I'm like, you guys have no idea. We're already living in that world, man.
Yeah,
But-
my theater fucking popped for that. I
I
actually I went to a 9:50 showing in Maine, and it was still a packed fucking theater and an active one at that.
I'm glad because I there's a few movies that I want the crowd for, and these are one of the Marvel movies are the ones I want the crowd for.
Yeah.
I don't really have any issues with the crowds either. Like everyone complains. It was a baby at my second showing, but the mom had a pretty solid wrangle, which I was surprised. Like the second baby was gonna say something, she was like ready, like half foot out the door, but baby shut up. But yeah, that was also a 9:50 showing. Pretty packed crowd there. I'm hoping there's one more packed crowd. It probably won't be tomorrow, but I'm hoping so because it's definitely a movie that you need there. But yeah, that was one of my big pop-off moments was that. But man, Blade was the one that I was like, holy shit, I am flabbergasted this is happening. And just to bring it back, I'm glad they didn't kill him off. Like this was a love letter,
Yeah.
like a hey, we know you guys didn't have the best endings, or you guys didn't, and Channing Tatum didn't even get a chance. So fuck it, let's show it. Let's show you guys off.
And
Let's
that's what
rock
I
it out.
thought we were building to. Is I genuinely thought like all 3 of them were gonna die during that fight, and that was just gonna be it. We'd see them die as Deadpool and Wolverine move on. It's like, well, they got their last hurrah.
They didn't even get that.
I-
They got their own little like didn't see it right, but they got their own like they're gonna have their own happy ending, which is cool. But like,
Yeah.
shout out to them, like, dude. Some of those jokes, like there can only be one blade, and Deadpool looking at the camera was funny.
Yeah, it just looks right at it.
I mean, to be fair, I still think that's the case. I don't actually think we'll get fucking Blade until like maybe another 10 years from now.
There is a few slates still open, in between Doomsday and and Secret Wars.
In between the return of Robert
Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Yeah.
Well,
Which
it's really interesting because they're really leaning heavily into like vampires and stuff in like the recent media for Marvel, like comics and in video games. So it's interesting that Blade hasn't come out by now.
it's here's how I feel about this though right now is, and this is gonna be just spoilers everywhere. So I mean we're gonna jump around. I think this is a solid pivot. I think. Did you guys both watch the test footage for Fantastic Four?
No,
I have, yeah.
I linked it in the thing, David, if you're curious. I think that is the most fresh. I mean, I know it's test footage, right? None of it's like actually going to happen, but just the tone of it feels the most fresh, I think, of a Marvel movie that I've seen in a while. And just WandaVision, like especially the first like 4 episodes, still stand out as superb, I think.
agreed.
I don't know how we're gonna get to a point where I feel comfortable that we're gonna get the best Secret Wars that we could, because we just do not have this cohesion among Marvel heroes right now. Like we have to tie everyone in so much. Like it really took Age of Ultron and Civil War, among others, to really kind of get you settled into where everyone was at, right? Like this is really like we don't even have like the Civil War going into this, into Doomsday, and we're gonna have to like find all that out, incorporate all these characters. How are we gonna get Shang-Chi and the Eternals all together? Like we don't really know where this is. Like it's gonna require a lot of threads to be tied neatly.
And there's nothing that is really building to it. If you look at the slate that they have building up, I don't see anything that begins to build to that.
Yeah,
I'd argue that we don't need any of that. I think honestly we could kind of run and gun, or they could kind of run and gun with it, because the whole point of it, I feel like, is if I'm to theory craft a little bit, I think the whole point of it is you're gonna set up like a new big bad, so you kind of want the heroes to be in disarray a little bit, right? So we're gonna need like a B team to come in and get fucking punched in the face in order to get the true A team, right?
So
like I feel like we're gonna get a Young Avengers probably at the start of whatever comes first, because there's Avengers 5 and 6.
Doomsday.
Yeah, so I think in Brave New World, that's gonna set up a lot of stuff right there.
Because that's going to lead into like Thunderbolts.
Yeah, well, it's not only going to lead into Thunderbolts. We're going to get a lot more with Hulk. We're going to get a lot more with Vibranium.
Adamantium.
Yeah, Adamantium as well. We're going to get probably some more hints at mutants. And then after that, I think we're going to get Isaiah Bradley's nephew. I forget his name, but he plays like the younger Captain America replacement for Young Avengers. And I think because
you know what, can we do this now? I would love for us to just kind of just go off the rails a little bit, because that's what we're all about. Let me make.
We do that.
If we're
You've
cool
seen
with
the
this,
Marvels as well,
if you guys
right?
don't mind this, I want to go in and can we get a big roll call and see where everyone's at in Theorycraft, where we're gonna end up at. So right now, we're missing right now, Thor is, where the fuck is Thor at again?
Well,
he's
to
off on a planet with his
preemptively-
adopted daughter.
Yeah,
right.
just to
Thor is love.
preemptively like cap off, I think this is all gonna be super relevant to the comics that I've recently been reading, especially with all the Robert Downey Jr. news that's going on. Because I think it's gonna go like step for step with what's happening currently in the Ultimate Run. Because currently in the Ultimate Run is kind of based around Reed and having the Council of Reeds, and then we have one really bad Reed that's like trying to create like a third impact type situation.
Right.
With the Maker. And so I think we're just going to do the inverse of that, because Fantastic Four were essential in like the original run of the Ultimate Universe. And I think since we haven't had Fantastic Four in the MCU, where are we going to go with that? Robert Downey Jr. baby. So instead of doing like a Maker with Reed, we're just gonna reverse it into a Council of Starks.
So, okay. Let me. So if we're
With
gonna dive
Superior
deep into
Iron
that,
Man, have him lock in. Maybe like he locks this Stark into like a Mark One or whatever version of the suit of armor, because that's kind of like what it ends up being. Never mind. We can dig deeper into.
so which way do you guys feel more comfortable with? Do you guys want to like wrap up some Deadpool Wolverine rather than come back, or do you guys want to detour and off the rails and come back after this?
Yeah, I don't know how else to like spoil it, right? Because it's a lot of cameos, and that's a lot of the situation. Because we're essentially getting what his universe is dying off because we get the revelation that Deadpool takes place in the same timeline as Logan, just before it happens. So Logan happens years down the line after Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
And essentially that place is because we've never known where Logan came in on the timeline. I think
2029.
is where we've been at. Well, we've just not known like where.
Yeah.
Like, is it like in continuation with Days of Future Past and all?
I
that
think it
shit?
was I didn't watch it, but I've always heard New Rockstar say it was like the good ending. I believe they said of Days of Future Past, whatever that means.
Right. So that's what Deadpool is. Deadpool takes place in the good ending of Days of Future Past, where yeah. So that's the good ending, and then so it ends up bad anyways with Logan. So it establishes us that on that timeline. So the timeline's dying off since Logan's dying. So they bring in a new Logan. Well, so is the timeline still dying? It's just now going to die slower.
They said that
No,
they
they
said
said
that it
it's
got
fixed.
fixed.
Oh,
so
okay.
I don't. I see. That's the
because
thing.
now that Logan's staying there, he
So,
replaced him.
That's the
So
thing.
is
Yeah.
the other timeline going to die?
And it was already kind of fucked though, right? But I guess, but Paradox with that, that's a hard part. You can't really take what he says.
Yeah, exactly. He's unreliable narrator
But
here.
I mean, he did say like you can't just do that, which I mean, he doesn't say that that's not like against the rules or anything. He just says you can't do that.
Yeah, maybe it's like a situation like it hasn't been done, so you can't do that.
And he
We don't
said,
know
but
if
if
that
you
works.
did, but I would have taken anyone else besides this one, meaning that he just probably just didn't believe that that one could have done anything.
Yeah.
Which he was able to prove otherwise, right?
Yeah,
so-
and I'm cool with it all being ambiguous anyways, right? As long as they're like, yeah, it's fixed, I'm cool with that. Like I forgot about that part. So.
Yeah. So but with let's do Deadpool Wolverine and then let's deep dive this. So Deadpool Wolverine. I still I love, and then the Deadpool fight with everyone together was fucking awesome.
Yep.
I loved the whole nice pool ending leading up to that was really good.
Well, and that's why I say this is like a comic book ass movie, right? We get a bunch
Yeah.
of splash pages, we get a bunch of the big moments, we get the cameos, the crossovers from other comics that we would get. I feel like this is like the perfect epitome of it.
Right. But it was fantastic. I really think
His whole family was in the movie. His wife was in the movie and his 2 kids.
Yes, and actually, real quick, that ties into what I was going to say. That is how my partner had the vibe of the film spoiled from her, is because she saw TikTok from
Blake
his partner,
Lively.
Blake Lively. And she's like, yeah, you know your partner's an elder millennial when these are the songs you've been hearing all the time as of
Yeah.
late. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. My girlfriend was telling me that too, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad. She's like, oh, you didn't know that was in the movie? I was like, no, what do you mean? She's like, oh yeah, she posted about it. I'm like, she posted a spoiler? She's like, well, kind of, and said like, millennials love Deadpool because of, and then they listed off, and then one of them was Bye Bye Bye, and I was like, oh, I would have known that. I would have said that was a spoiler because I was like, when the fuck did that happen? So it goes to show we need to stop watching those second Marvel trailers.
No,
Yeah.
Or
sure.
just shut that down the week of if it's a big one because people can't be trusted.
Well, now he said that he's down to just do one trailer, so we'll fucking see.
I did-
Who knows?
The girlfriend doesn't quite know like proper comic book movie spoiler etiquette. Cause she'll watch them. She has fun with them, but she isn't like I took her like opening like moment, the very first showing opening of.
Yeah.
And so when we got out there, she started saying, "Oh yeah, I like Jennifer Garner." I'm like,
Just start coughing. Her in the
Yeah,
rug.
I don't want to be. I don't
So
want to be
did
that.
you see
right on her.
Did you see the other popcorn bucket? The one that I said was a big spoiler as well.
There was like, it was interesting because we had an ad for him at my movie theater, but they just blacked out 3 of the cups. And I'm like, okay, well, now that's fascinating. Who's on those cups?
No, they blacked them out because they sold out.
Okay.
So I'll just show that off because there's gonna be a moment. All right, I got
Nice.
this
The
one, which is a
Wolverine.
fucking. I really want to eat out of it, but also like I didn't want to clean it.
Yeah.
But it's so funny, and then like this is like kind of like a rubbery
What?
felt part too.
Put it with your puddle there.
And this one's cool because it actually comes with a stand. Like it's built
Yeah.
to be like showcased.
That is cool.
And but you know what though?
Oh, it spins. That's cool.
Let's see. This is totally like not popcorn
Nah.
bucket built. Like
No.
this is a just something.
That's the display piece.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that's
it was
sick.
like 0%. This was actually gonna get eaten out of for sure. But it looks really cool. Like this part's like kind of like rubbery parts on there.
Ah, that is cool.
This one looks really good. This one was more expensive. I think 30 for that one, 40 for this. But dude, they were. I got there.
Yeah, big spoiler. That's the one I was talking about. It's like, oh well, Headpool's in the movie. All
Yeah.
right, cool.
I guess they had
Which,
a. They had
that
a,
was in the trailer.
they had a-
So
Yeah.
They had one of those up there. I didn't want to just go to the theater and just walk out with that, even though everyone else did. So I ended up watching Twisters, but beforehand, which I had fun. It was the last Twisters IMAX. I'm gonna go try to watch that 4DX because they confirmed it's gonna come back to 4DX. So I'm
I
gonna
got
see.
filmed right down the road from me.
Yeah, I heard that was incredible in 4DX. I really want to watch that there. But I was like, all right, so I'll pick up a showing for that and at least make a thing of it. And I walk in and the line, there's 2 lines. If you don't go to AMC, there's 2 lines. There's like a line that snakes for regular people, and there's a priority line for A-list members. And they go with like 2 cashiers for A-list. It's already a shorter line, and 1 cashier for the long line that snakes. So I walk in, I'm like, oh fuck. All right, this. I already see people walking out with bags, just bags. Everyone walks up there, walks away with a bag. Walks up there, walks away with a bag. I'm like, oh fuck. Oh, I may have, and I'm talking like the first showing of the day has not even started yet. It is like I am there. They probably opened at 11:30, I guess, probably like half an hour before about an hour, half an hour before the first showing. I don't know, but I'm like getting antsy. I'm like texting the girlfriend. I'm like, that. I was like, oh cool. There's only 2 more groups ahead of me. And then they waved down, and then none of the people in front of me moved. It's because it was like the short girl that was in the very front of the line that walked. I'm like, fuck. Luckily, I feel like a lot of people weren't scalpers. I can't tell, but like at least that girl had like a whole Deadpool lounge fly bag and everything. So I'm like, all right, I'm assuming that's there. Guy like right in front of me got the last Wolverine cup. So I was like almost gonna impulse buy the cups. I already didn't want to. They're 25 each. I'm like, and so when I walk up, I'm like, do you have the cups? I'm like, we only have the Deadpool one. I'm like, cool. I would want them as a set, so pass. But as I'm checking out, I asked the guy, I'm like, how much more do you guys have left? And they pulled out like a small bag of like 3 or 4 more each, and they're like, that's it. I'm like, that line. I saw people like towards the front of that line. I've already beat them out to the front. So, but yeah, they those things went quick. And yeah, the cups were gone. So by the time like, by the time I was like done getting my slushie for the movie, I walked back. They were just gone. So that's why they blacked them out. Was there was just nothing left.
Oh well, no, mine they like blacked them out for like question marks because they didn't want to spoil it.
Oh,
Because they actively showed the Deadpool and the Wolverine ones, but then they put like a blackout with a question mark over the others.
Huh.
weird.
So my theater actually cared about the spoiler aspect of it.
That's cool.
Then Regal had the baby pool
Yeah, seeing that.
cup combo, and my friend actually went and there were some there, and she texted me and she's like, "You want this?" I was like, "I'm not spending more money than at this point. I got 2 buckets worth of that. I'm good." But yeah, going back to it, any other major spoilers that were any? We'll keep coming back to. I'll leave the spoilers up there as we.
Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
Did we talk about him?
Bro
Yeah.
was fucking jacked.
Kind of mentioned it. Yeah, no, that It's so insane. Like he looks great. It's like no, come back, go back.
Do you think they're contemplating it?
Doors always open now, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like sometimes they do these things just to see. Granted, I would have think the same thing about John Krasinski being Mr. Fantastic, but Pedro Pascal's a good.
Oh, he's a damn good
slot
actor.
there.
I'm so
Have you
excited.
have
for
you
that.
guys seen the interviews between him and some of the cast?
Yeah,
No.
with
Vanessa
Kirby.
Kirby, dude, they look like they are soulmates, bro. Like they are like looking in each other's eyes like deep and like holding hands on the carpet and stuff. Like there was this cute moment where they were talking and like uh Pedro like kind of like tapped her on the shoulder and she like went back and grabbed his hand because Pedro Pascal has like really bad anxiety when he's talking like in front of people. It's nuts. So from the test footage, David, you'll see it if you ever see it. There's really good chemistry among that group, and it just like
Mm.
that sort of like could write itself, hopefully.
And I think people are sleeping on Joseph David Quinn. I think he's gonna be great as Johnny Storm. Like I think he's been good in like all the shit I've seen him in so far. Stranger Things.
What's his how you spell his?
I'm pretty sure it's Joseph David Quinn or something like that.
Because is he
Joseph Quinn.
Is he who I think he is?
He was in Stranger Things. He was in A Quiet Place Day One. He's gonna be in Gladiator 2.
Is he in The Bear?
No.
He was the one from The
Oh,
Bear.
that guy's gonna be in The Thing though. He's gonna be The Thing. What's his name? Eben Moss Bacharach or
That's-
Eben Beck and Eben Moss Bacharach. Yeah.
All right, keep talking while I look this up.
Yeah, Cousin's gonna be The Thing. Pedro's gonna be Mando's gonna be Mr. Fantastic. I think the only one with like a list I haven't seen a whole lot from be Vanessa Kirby. She was in not Fantastic Fast and Furious movies. She was Shaw's sister, Deckard Shaw,
Wait, who'd you
Jason
say?
Statham's character. Vanessa Kirby, the person gonna play Sue. She was Deckard Shaw's
Oh,
sister.
and Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the only like big movie that I can think of her from.
Okay. Yeah. The guy that plays the thing. He's gonna
Yeah.
be great.
Oh yeah, he's gonna fucking kill it. He's gonna be so.
I
good.
do. The only thing I worry
Oh,
about
she
is
was in the newest Mission Impossible too.
the only thing I worry about a little bit is let's see, everyone. Well, I guess not really. How old?
The guy
I-
directing it is he did Always Sunny. That's so funny. And didn't he do WandaVision as well?
Yeah.
Matt Jackman.
Yeah. Which, like I said, with the way he did, at least I think he directed every episode, but like at least the first 4 being so set timepieces, they were
I was
awesome.
about to say he's really good with like those set piece, like those timely set piece
And
type stuff.
so
It's
you're gonna
really
have
cool.
him doing that, and you're gonna have the set director of Loki making everything around there.
That's really interesting.
So that's a
'cause
good
I love
combo.
that TVA set design that they had, even translated in Deadpool. I feel like they nailed it.
Right.
Yeah.
The only thing I worry about with Fantastic Four is I still think like Pedro Pascal is like 49 years old, right? I understand we're making an established thing, but like I just worry because you want to keep this thing going without freaking out the nerds about replacing people, right? And it's like, are these people set to sign up for 10, 15? Because Robert Downey Jr. was doing like what 15 years as Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like it's like, are we gonna be able to sustain that?
Well, we have to think also. This is technically would be the second Reed that we've met in the MCU.
Yeah. I just wonder the stability.
Also,
of
I
it.
don't
I
think they really care anymore because where the multiverse is now so ingrained.
Yep.
I don't think
Well, that's
Disney
what I'm
really
saying.
cares if they just
Yeah,
Which
Disney
out,
doesn't. I mean,
familiarize
we can. I thought that people receiving. I mean, Robert Downey Jr. would have been more well received, but people were kind of like backfiring a bit. Also, seeing how much
Well, that's
he made
because
too.
people are fucking stupid. Like a lot of them don't
yeah.
The-
understand what's being cooked. But I totally get the pay
He-
stuff. That's insane.
He's got quite the pay. I think if
Yeah.
I've heard correctly, it's in the couple
like
hundred
80
million.
million a
No,
movie,
it's above. I had heard from
I
someone.
think that's like guaranteed. And then he gets the extras and he gets like on the back end if it like does good, which it's gonna do fucking insane. Who are we kidding?
Let me say this. I told this behind the scenes, I think, with David and Gore a while back. Uh, I had heard a while back a handful of things rumbling from behind the scenes of Marvel, and one of them was early on was like Red Hulk and Harrison Ford before he got announced and stuff. But among that was them trying to make a play for I think it was Chris Evans back in the MCU, and they offered him like around 250 million to just like jump back in and just stick it. I'm assuming that's probably around the ballpark of where RDJ got there, because he also did that and demanded Russo Bros in there.
That's so sick.
It's a
Just
flex,
to
but
get someone else a job.
I don't understand this whole thing of like, oh, it reached desperation, bro. Like the reception of the movies has been like rough, right? Like everyone's been complaining about how like we're not at this peak moment of Marvel anymore. So like, why are
Not
people
gonna
like?
lie though, I would have really liked to see what Destin Creighton did with a Avengers movie. That would have been
Yeah,
really cool
agreed.
because he did Shang-Chi. I would love to see that because I
Agreed.
feel like he'd probably try to feature Shang-Chi a little bit more. Into
Right.
It.
And I get that. I also get the idea of like, can we get new actors in instead of recycling them? I get that, but like,
Young Avengers, baby.
the MCU is in a spot right now where it's funky, and I get that. Like, as someone that like talked down on how carbon
Everything that
copy,
people want, they just have to wait for X-Men because that's what X-Men are going to be, right? Unless they do something stupid and do like X-Men while they're like 30 years old.
right? I just think like these are also, all the movies we're getting to be way too cookie cutter, but like they need to come back and like look back into what they were doing right, and move back with that. Like, I think it's like, all right, let's step back, play it safe, figure this out, and then go forward with some more risks. Because right now they kind of just had no direction. They just a lot of risks after Endgame, and I just don't think any have paid off. With that said, I'm gonna leave the spoilers for Deadpool Wolverine up just in case we just end up talking about that. Let's go back in here and let's see where we're at. So, Thor and Love.
Yeah.
Where do you think we're at with where are we at with them, and where they're gonna, how are we gonna lend them with everyone back?
Well, allegedly, what is it? Taika's not going to come back, and
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth, he wants to take it more seriously. So
That's a whiplash.
yeah, that's a big tonal whiplash. So we'll see what happens there. And again, Love could easily be a young Avenger. She could be like that cosmic being.
How do you think they
'Cause,
come back with everyone?
Well, Kate's already looking. She's recruiting for Young Avengers.
So you
'Cause,
think-
the Marvel's post credit was her sneaking up on Yelena,
Mhm.
or no, it was someone
Kamala.
else. Kamala. Yeah, oh, it's Kamala.
Kamala and going to Kate.
Yeah, it went to Kate, and Kate already has the hookup with Yelena, and so we're probably gonna get Kamala. So Kamala has like an intergalactic thing, right? So I feel like they could probably find Thor and Love that way, probably through Miss Marvel or through what is she now? Photon. So I mean, there's connection there. Brave New World. That's gonna introduce us to the new. Possibly our new Avengers lineup and Young Avengers lineup. I feel like
For what?
Brave New World, the new Captain America. I
Right.
feel like that's going to give us our new probably look at new Avengers and the Young Avengers.
So
We're
Yeah.
also forgetting the like
And
TV
Thunderbolts.
slate because we're
Right.
aren't
Well,
we
right,
still
next
supposed to
up
be
is
getting like
Agatha.
Ironheart?
Agatha.
So I mean,
I think Armor Wars got turned.
Armor
into a
Wars is
movie
still
now.
somewhere.
Yeah. With Mephisto, Sacha Baron Cohen as Mephisto.
Right. So we'll see about that. But yeah, so and we'll get more D23 news. So we can come back to this in a little bit.
Yeah,
when
so I
we-
think they can easily split Thor and Love apart. Detach Love, bring her in with the new Avengers. I don't know what they do with Thor's story. I feel like it has to be like a greater threat that he comes in to help with, unless they make him. I don't know. They did the whole fat slob thing. Now they're doing the whole, and they kind of went through his redemption storyline. And
Well,
now
it
they're
has to be with Loki, right? So I think New Rockstar made a whole video dedicated to a whole why am I
Loki's
crying
the timeline now.
with why am I crying
how-
with Thor? They because they said that he woke up, he kept waking up saying Thor, right? And that was kind of a callback to how in Multiverse of Madness, Doctor Strange says that every dream you have is just you in the multiverse.
Mhm.
So it could be that because Deadpool has ties with TVA and Loki, and there's a tie with him, the Thor that way.
canonically, Deadpool also has schizophrenia and a lot of other mental issues. So
This is true. So that says, where do we think Photon is this whole link between Fox Universe and then us coming back
Fuck,
and
I
trying to
forgot
figure
all
that out?
about that too.
Yeah.
God damn it. 'Cause, yeah, she is with the new X-Men. So like or it
She
makes
has
me
to be
really
kind of a
wonder.
pivotal role for everyone to get along, right? Because it's gonna be Civil War 2.0 when these things clash.
Yeah, X-Men versus Avengers. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
But
We're
she's gonna have to be the
definitely
one that kind of like she'll probably fight on their end maybe because she doesn't know who any of these new heroes are maybe.
I think it's gonna be one of those. Well, she I don't think has had like any contact with the Avengers, right? Because the Avengers have been gone. She's just had contact with Sword and Nick Fury.
Which I mean, to be fair, Nick
Uh,
Fury is tied everywhere else though.
Yeah, well, because in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier were both like undercover. They're kind of burned
Mm-hmm.
for all intents and purpose. And then we see in WandaVision and in Secret Invasion what Nick's doing with Sword.
So I did not finish Secret Invasion. Where we land up with that?
Uh, Fuck, I kind of forget a little bit too. It was kind of a blur, and kind of like I'm also mixing what I know of the comics in with it, so
Mm.
I'm not like the most reliable with it. But I think we currently Nick is still alive. Maria Hill's dead. There's like a Super Scroll played by Amelia Clark somewhere out there, and I forget. I don't think it has any like big overarching things going on with it, which
So-
was weird because the Marvels had the big thing with that whole planet being bombed with all the scroll there. So there's like no interlinking there. So like a lot of it feels weird.
So right now I'm putting that we have Thor and Love, and I put kind of a link across to Kamala. Is kind of she probably has the most rational link between them.
Yeah, 'cause
Photon
I
in the
think-
Fox universe.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's so you would think Kamala's working with Sword, so I think Sword's gonna be the big connecting piece here, because I think Shield is essentially defunct, and Sword's where we're gonna get all of our action. And that's probably where we're gonna get our new Avengers team. Like I would fully expect in Brave New World we get Sword introduction there somehow as well.
Yeah, because the whole point of Sword is more of the intergalactic threat levels, right?
Yeah, it's a orbital base.
So we have so I put Super Scrolls MIA. I feel like Sharon Carter. We're gonna see where we're at with.
Fuck, I forgot all about that.
That's what.
God
See,
damn it.
so that's what I'm saying. That this is where my point's kind of landing at is that I feel like we have so many cascades of just loose threads everywhere that I get that not all of them are gonna have to be. I think maybe they kind of learned from last time. Yeah, we can't have them all neatly tied like at the end of Endgame because then we have to start so fresh. But also like Secret Wars is the biggest, right? So it has to really knock out a lot of these threads, and there are so many loose threads everywhere. Sharon Carter being the power broker is huge.
I was about to say I feel like that's a small one.
I think with the way they set it up, though, like right, it was like one of those end credits. Like, all right, we're gonna see her, but I think we might see her in Captain America. I feel like that'd be
Oh, for sure.
a
I
solid.
definitely-
So
I think if they're smart, they have the chance to offer in Captain America.
I hate that direction for her.
Just carpet bomber somewhere like, oh, there went the power broker.
Yeah, I hate that direction for her,
Yeah.
but I feel like they set up a lot for her to try to be. But like, I don't
Yeah.
know. It feels. You know what it reeks of? It reeks of Mordo. Right, where they're
Yeah,
like at the end of Doctor Strange, Mordo's like, "All right, can't wait," and then just nothing. Which he's still somewhere, right? Mordo, I don't know.
Theoretically.
Well, yeah, theoretically, but now he has a bone to pick with Strange, so that's gonna be really interesting whenever he finally gets his hands on a Strange, you know, because I don't think he's gonna be like a rational actor at that point.
The multiverse Mordo.
Yeah, the 838 Mordo.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm pretty sure he's still alive.
Yeah. So then let's see. Doctor Strange is off with what's her name?
Clea,
Yeah. And he's learning about all
or at
this.
least they're home.
So he's gonna play a pivotal role.
Well, he's learning a lot about the what is
Incursion.
it, the dark universe or whatever it is,
Right.
or dark dimension. I think that's Clea's whole thing. She can like rip a tear in reality.
and he knows about the incursion, so he's gonna play a big role somewhere.
I mean, hopefully it inevitably leads to us finally getting Sheogorath, but
Right.
So let's see. Where we at? Who of the Guardians? Because we have that new Guardians crew.
Oh yeah, that's why I'm excited for it. Oh man, we're gonna get King Groot. Oh, it's gonna be so fucking good.
Do
I'm a big Groot
we
fan. I have a bunch of Groot pops.
think they're gonna show up and do some stuff?
I really hope so, but at the same time, it's gonna feel weird without James Gunn, especially if they keep Kraglin as like one of the main team members.
I'm
on
surprised
there.
they kept him in for that. Right? That could have been a whole clean cut, just like do that. But
Very,
he wanted to keep his brother employed.
I guess so, or at least leave the door open for him. Be like, here, bro, I'm gonna leave this.
You know what
so
could
they
be
can
cool
like
though
that.
is I assume just as his brother he should know James Gunn's writing enough that maybe he left him there to be like, hey, here's stay employed here and let's see if you can kind of supervise how this should go.
Or like I know Sean has writing and production credits. I wonder if he'd want to direct.
Yeah, right. So I can see that
Mm.
happening, and that'd be cool for him to kind of
Yeah,
take the
or like
reins
you
of.
said, just have some kind of role in it. Yeah, production or something.
But I think they're gonna probably have some sort of role in Secret Wars.
I would imagine too, because we have a lot of connections there, especially with Gamora, because she's still with the Ravagers. So we have the Guardians, and it feels like the Guardians are working on like a bigger scale now. They're like more organized. They have their uniforms. They're all working as a team and have formations and stuff. So I wonder if they're going to go in a, because this is a universe or a timeline that we don't have the Nova Corps. So I think the Guardians are going to be like the de facto like galactic space cops in a way.
Aren't we getting Nova in a show soon though?
Supposedly. Whenever we get that. So essentially we'll have one Nova Corps member.
Right. Which maybe they'll rebuild off that, but so when we left off Shang-Chi, he was the closest thing that we had at the get-go from like, oh, there are Avengers here.
And that's the thing too, his rings are pinging something from deep space too. So we are getting a lot of like galactic stuff, especially with Eternals kicking off.
Which that was supposed to be Kang related, but is gonna be retconned to something else now.
I mean, it could be the space dragons too.
Right.
Because that was a big thing in the comics. It was the bangles were actually like rings that came off of like a piece of the space dragon.
Mm. Well,
So-
it's also weird because I remember with the Kang thing, there was a lot of teasing for finally like really going in on a lot more of the outer kind of characters. Like I heard rumors that we might even start getting some of the other Titans, and now it's kind of like I don't know if we're gonna really start dealing with that then anymore now.
Well, we got Eros introduced in Eternals, and I think they're gonna start going that way, like introduce us to like more of the Titans besides like Thanos and Eros, his half brother.
Yeah, so we'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
So Shang-Chi we saw with Avengers, and we think like something's gonna connect there, but that's like the last we heard of
Wong.
Avengers.
So who's with the Avengers when they meet up with it? It's Wong and who else?
Bruce
Was it
Banner,
Vision. Oh yeah, Bruce. It was Mark. Okay.
because he had the
And he has the sling on.
yeah.
still.
So Wong and Bruce, but then they say, what's up with
So-
this whole like, we need you to rebuild the Avengers with that? Does that mean Brave New World's gonna lead into where Shang-Chi also led up at, tie that together?
Well, so we've had She-Hulk now with Wong as well. So I feel like we have a few connecting pieces.
So
We have Intergalactic
really
and kind
quick,
of like what's going. Yeah.
To interrupt you, just because now that's making sense, because this might be why Brave New World's had 14 different rewrites. They're trying to make this one be the piece together for everything. Then
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's gonna lead into a few things. It's gonna have to lead into Avengers, and it's gonna have to lead into Thunderbolts a little bit.
right. So sorry, you said with it's gonna connect with Galactic and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we're getting a lot of setup for like intergalactic space stuff, and we're also getting the setup for the ground, right? We have Wong trying to get together an Avengers team, and we also have Fury and Sword trying to get together another Avengers team, but we also have Kamala putting together a team, but we don't know who Kamala's doing it for.
Young Avengers, Thunderbolts. We have Sword, and then we have Brave New World now is trying to be its own Avengers. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it feels like everyone's like kind of fractured, but
Well, I think the thing with Brave New World, right, is he's trying to bring Captain America on as like a government official or like a official ranking member in the military, so that he can then have bring him under the banner of the military and kind of give him direct orders and pass it. It'd be like then a title that they could officially pass, right?
Like what
Because right
happened in
now they
Falcon and the
have
Winter
it.
Soldier.
Right, with him, like they tried to do with him,
Yeah.
anyways. Which we have him too for Thunderbolts. Yeah, I forgot where I was going with that.
We have She-Hulk. Where's she coming in at?
She's with Wong.
Oh, right,
Wong
right. So
from-
so that'll be with Shang-Chi, and then
Well, we
Daredevil's
have-
probably going to be around there too.
Well,
Or I
the
haven't
thing
seen
with
Echo.
She-Hulk too is we also got Scar officially introduced as well.
Oh, right. I forgot.
Hulk
about
and Hulk's son,
Scar.
and he could be a Young Avenger as well. He could take
Yeah.
Hulk's place, which that would be a huge. That would be kind of weird to not have Hulkling, especially since they're introducing Wiccan in the Agatha series, which we'll probably get to.
Daredevil. I didn't see Echo. Is Daredevil and Echo? What's up with them?
They have a slight moment. It's like a fight scene because Echo's having a fight independently, where she's like a bodyguard, and she happens to be like a bodyguard for like this person that Daredevil happens to be hunting. So she's like just caught in the middle of it and gets her ass beat by Daredevil, and he gets away. And that's essentially what happens
So-
in her show.
Should I assume then that Daredevil's probably with the Wong, Bruce Banner, Scar, and She-Hulk?
We have his series coming up, so we'll probably find out next year, right?
Yeah, I'll put
Oh,
that.
yeah, that's a while off, ain't it?
Yeah.
Then they are doing rewrites with that too, so that's also probably a big.
I think they're wrap shooting. I think it's official for next year. I could be wrong there though.
Let's see. We had that Echo. Where did Echo leave off at?
Great question. I forgot. That one was like a blur to me.
Oh, and there's also the other Hawkeye.
Yeah,
Kate's gonna be with
Yeah.
Young Avengers with Kamala.
Yeah, Kamala. She was the first one recruited.
Moon Knight.
Midnight Suns. We'll probably get him with Blade and Black Knight. I wouldn't expect him to see him until we get like a season 2 or like a Blade announcement.
Eternals.
Uh,
We're missing half the
supposedly-
Eternals.
well, supposedly Eternals 2 is DOA. So
Right.
they could essentially just say, "Hey, remember those Eternals guys? Who? Eternals who?"
The Avengers go back in time and fix their mistake of not ending slavery.
Yeah. They just let that shit happen.
Um,
Y'all watch the pyramids be built, bro.
So I'm gonna say. So
Help them
remember
along.
they got cut off in half, right? Like, Tiamat, was it Tiamat that or no? It was
Tiamat is the one
The
that's
one
coming
that
out of the ocean.
yeah. Someone else came in and judged them and took them.
Yeah, that was Irisham.
Yeah. Leaving half of them off with Star Fox. With Star Wolf and all that. And half of them are just gone.
Being judged.
Yeah, I don't know if that comes into play. That there's so much just left on the table with that it's shocking that we're just now getting to that in Brave New World.
They could totally just forget all about the Eternals that left, call it good, just focus on Blade and Black Knight, and just go from there. Just act like the rest never even happened.
You got Harry Styles though now.
Oh, right. Yeah, you want to pay him some more.
So I'm gonna put Eternals with Brave New World. I feel like we might have to hear something just because Tiamat's there. Maybe.
Yeah, supposedly that's like a big, according to Comic Con, that's a big plot point is adamantium
Right.
from Tiamat.
Who else are we missing now? Loki.
Well, I mean, we're always going to be missing him theoretically.
He's gonna have a spot in all this though. I'll put
Yeah,
Secret
on the
Wars.
fucking chair.
Yeah, he's gonna be chilling.
I'll put
You-
Secret Wars for
It
Loki.
does make me kind of wonder, like, how does that work? Like, can he manipulate the timeline, or is he
I didn't
actually,
watch
like,
season 2, but from what I heard, he's just like the watcher
He
of
basically
stories.
is.
He's the watcher.
He's
Well,
well, not quite like the
Watcher's
Watcher. He's
not-
actually like holding everything in continuity.
It-
Yeah.
Because the whole point of season 2 is that literally they wanted to stop blowing shit up, and they're like, "Oh fuck, we needed to do that because otherwise, existence explodes because it's too much for the universe to handle. So he is the one now literally holding the universe together.
Okay.
So he kind of can't be anywhere. He has to hold the universe in place.
And it's kind of cool too. He like forges it into Yggdrasil.
Yep.
So now the life tree is kind of like the timeline.
April Ranger up in chat real quick said, we need Ted in it, aka Man Thing, right? So we have
God,
Werewolf by
dude.
Night and Man Thing, right?
And the cool thing is, Michael Giacchino, director for Werewolf by Night, he officially did the main theme song for the Fantastic Four. It's so fucking good.
Mm-hmm. What do we
They
think,
played
Werewolf
that
by
during
Night
the
and
intro
Man
of the show.
Thing?
Ugh. Dude, I love Werewolf by Night. I hope that comes up in Midnight Suns too. That's perfect layup. Elsa Bloodstone. Elsa Bloodstone could easily be in Midnight Suns group.
Who else are we missing? I feel like we're missing a handful more. Let me check real quick.
Ironheart, Namor.
Oh yeah, we have all the Wakanda stuff, huh?
Yep.
Where we think we see Namor or
Under the sea, that's where we fucking see him.
Under the sea. No, so
we said
I think
that sorry to interrupt. We said
No, you're
that
good.
Blade is gonna show back up probably if or Moon Knight will probably show back up if Blade shows back up along with Black Knight later on. Namor is a mutant confirmed too, so that's gonna have some sort of role in all this.
Yeah, they went out of their way to clarify that. Yeah, that's the one thing that sucks. I feel like Namor's gonna be kind of like sidelined for a while here because he's legit one of the ones I think that just have like no real place here. It's just kind of like seeding the future.
You think he comes back in with Fantastic Four?
I think Fantastic Four is gonna be like almost completely detached.
No, so right, but his next appearance, because
like
there is a
him
lot of
in
that.
Fantastic Four.
I don't want to go into the story where like Susan Storm starts like trying to have an affair with Namor and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, do you think that we get any sort of semblance of like they come back in together, or do we think we don't even cross those lines with those characters?
No, I don't think Fantastic Four is going to come back into all of this. And well, no, they've been confirmed for the Avengers, so I don't know how that's going to work.
So
Good
I think
question.
Fantastic Four is it's its own universe. Something's
I
gonna
think
happen.
They might be the people on the other side, like operate like a control panel or something type of situation. Because my whole thing was, I think we're going to get a big reset on this end on the MCU. We're going to get the whole reboot to continuity, and then that's probably whenever we'd get this Fantastic Four and their time capsule kind of dropped off with us.
As in how? Explain that.
I mean, there's a lot of ways they can bullshit. Fantastic Four has a big thing with the negative zone, so they could go through the negative zone, pop out one end, pop through another.
I think what happens is they're in their own world. I think it's confirmed they're in their own universe, right?
Yep.
It's so I think
That's
whatever
kind of what I was thinking. They're in their own little time capsule, their own little Jetsons type shit, and then eventually we're gonna get them fish out of water, popped into like New York or some shit.
Captain
Baxter
America.
Building. Yeah.
Which is it's gonna be Galactus just eats shit up, right?
Yep. Well, yeah. He turns them into like paste.
So do we get them losing at the end of their own movie and showing back up here, and then how do we get Doctor Doom coming in here?
I think, well, like I said, I think there's gonna be like a false Doctor Doom. I think they're kind of hyping it up, and he might call himself Doom, but it's not gonna be like Victor Von Doom.
They
It's
said
gonna be
it. They said
Tony.
Victor Von Doom.
I think that's a bunch of bullshit.
You think they're doing the alternate timeline one where it was I don't remember the exact details of the storyline, but it was like instead of Reed Richards and Doom rooming together, it was Tony and Doom, and ultimately he kind of stole and took over a lot of the same tech. You think that's what we're getting? It's really still just Tony, but it's that one that basically steals all of Doom's shit.
I think they could just have it not even like related to Fantastic Four, really, right? I mean, I think they could do it in a way to where like we have two different multiversal Tonys. We have like a good Tony that's locked in the armor, and he takes up the mantle of Doom. I do think it's gonna be weird how they like kind of phrase it, because we don't have any context to Doom, and that's kind of like what the Ultimate Universe depends on. You having context of who Doom is and why it's ironic that Reed is now locked in the Doom armor. But I think they could do it in a type of way where, like, the good Tony that we know, because even in Deadpool, it's kind of weird, right? They focus on the Tony as a heart
Yeah.
symbolism. So I think they could have it in a way where we have Tony in like a suit of armor, maybe highly degraded,
Really quick,
man in Iron Mask type situation.
do you how much do you think Ryan Reynolds was let in on all this future head plans with everything? Do you think Feige's kind of like putting the James Gunn trust in him, where he's like, "Hey, you come in on the fold and here's everything we're talking about," or do you think some of that was
I
just
think
Ryan
Ryan
Reynolds?
Reynolds is that level of celebrity. They probably did bring him in on the fold a little bit.
Then I
think
feel
they
like
told him
he's that
everything.
that level of a contributor and writer that it would be good to get him involved in the process regardless.
Yeah.
He was tall. Like apparently when they were pitching Deadpool 3, I think it was like Kevin Feige or something saying like he's like an idea machine. He just throws so many things at you.
Well, I also like the idea of he originally didn't want to release Deadpool and Wolverine as Deadpool and Wolverine.
Deadpool and
He wanted to release it as Alpha Cop
Oh,
and just
yeah,
have
that
it
too.
be marketed as an entirely different film. And then you show up, and after 3 minutes, it turns into Deadpool and Wolverine.
Which would be great if it wouldn't have a $300 million budget or something like that. So really quick, for everybody in the chat, how are they going to explain Kang? Is he going to be killed off by Doom? I think they
Yeah,
can just retire
for
him for
sure.
now. I think he can come back later.
Yeah, I think they just stopped mentioning him.
It's gonna be Superior Iron Man just carpet bombing that Coliseum that you've seen with all the Kangs.
I
Do
think
his three
apparently
things and-
Loki kind of tied it up in a bow enough for you to be like, all right, Kang can come back later, and I think that's totally true. Like, and once we're done with this whole Secret Wars, I think Kang can be reintroduced and recast and
Yeah,
folded
Iron
back
Man.
in. I always felt like Kang was a bit too early for everything, as it was. Just because like that sort of being that just never dies, such a wild like it's a jump from Thanos to that, I think. But I don't think we need to have that. They say someone played a clip of Ultron's new body ripping apart the old one in Age of Ultron and said, "What if that happens to RDJ's Doom?" Like just like the True Doom just shoves aside RDJ's Doom. I don't. I think. I don't
Well, all of
see.
this kind of like just leads credence to why I think we're getting a reset, right? I think we're gonna get RDJ's Doom, and it's not gonna be like our Victor Von Doom that we traditionally want. We're gonna get a reset of the MCU, and then we'll eventually get the big Victor Von Doom moment with probably Pedro's Fantastic Four.
It also makes sense because at this point, like they did so much to write themselves in a corner to like ignore the concept of mutants and everything else, and now that's like, fuck, we can start adding all this shit back in. It almost feels like it's not worth the hassle to retrofit as much as you can when you could just say, fuck it, universe reset.
They got the
It's
rights
good
back
enough
to
for the
that
comics,
jingle.
it's good enough for us.
Yeah, they got the rights back to that jingle, so now they gotta use it.
So
Right.
So is this what we think is gonna happen? Is like we're gonna go through, push. All right, we get to Secret Wars. It is gonna be X-Men versus Avengers.
Now,
Fox.
I don't think we're gonna get X-Men versus Avengers until probably after.
But okay,
Yeah.
but you don't think Secret Wars is gonna have some of that?
Now, I think we'll get like Wolverine for sure, but I don't think we'll get like an X-Men team.
We don't. What do you think is gonna happen with Photon?
That's a good question. That's what I was thinking. Like she's kind of a wild card.
I
But,
mean,
we'd have to
still
get
see
some
them.
introduction to that.
I think them not killing off this Fox universe was a very telling move. That leaves the door open once more. I think because like not only did they just like leave the Fox universe open, they left it very very wide open for actually the spoilers going off for other things that I don't want to say, but beyond even the movie, you guys understand where the long-term plans of that are. I think that there's just so much that there's that's alive that it could lead to like us having that, because is Secret Wars gonna be genuine, like a genuine reset? You think like we're gonna just hit this button, we're gonna rewind
Depends on which Secret Wars they're taking inspiration from.
So that's the curious
Yeah.
one, right? Because like the Russos talk about like, oh, we like this was a story we fell in love with as a kid, me and the old one, but then they talk about like, but then we have Doom.
Yeah, and then we have the most recent Secret Wars, which is why I think they're basing the Doom run off of. But that Secret Wars is a lot different because it's not a complete reset. It's
Right.
a reset in the sense a lot of people aren't aware that they've been reset. But a lot of people are very aware that things have been reset and are pulling the strings.
Mm-hmm. They'd have to have at least add in a few moons or hit towards in Doomsday if they're adding a Fantastic Four. That's not even from the 616 universe.
Well, because the clocked mutants that we have so far are Kamala and Namor, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think they ever called Scarlet Witch a mutant.
No, they outright avoided anything like that because that was still way deep in not wanting to acknowledge anything Fox.
Yeah, so I wonder how. I don't think they mentioned anything about Quicksilver in WandaVision or anything either.
Yeah.
Well,
Can't hit.
well,
there's just so many like loose ends that we're having to run around. And then I didn't even get to the I mean, I guess that's around it. Then where are we at with phase 5? I guess we're in phase 5 right now.
That's why it
Yeah.
scares me if they do a reset, right? Because if they do a reset, that kind of leaves them in a position where they can be like, yeah, we'll do the X-Men, but they're all in like their 20s and 30s. Like, no, I want to see some younger. That's what made me excited about some of the later X-Men, like X-Men Apocalypse and stuff like that, because they did have that younger team, what I wanted to see. But I still don't feel like the overall movie was executed well. Other than
no, it was
I
not.
see. That's what I'm thinking though. Is I that's why I've been getting this feel, but sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But it just feels like it's gonna be a reset, like a big red button reset, and really just like purge everything that is not gonna be long term in this franchise, and start over fresh. So it's like that. What I'm kind of envisioning, it's gonna be they're gonna bring the Fox universe in on this. It's almost gonna be a Deadpool Wolverine ish, where it's gonna just bring a bunch of just like random IPs, kind of like and bring the Fox
Hey, you
universe in
stand?
and
All
do
right,
all
you're
this.
getting killed off. You want to stay? Getting killed off.
Yeah, get in line, figure out what, right? But it's like it's kind of like that with everything.
Sign your contract yet? Nope. All right, you're written off.
Yeah, and bring in everything, mashed together, and then afterwards we have our resolution. But that's got to be it. And like after this, it's got to be the firm reset and start over fresh, and that's when you can start having.
But will Sony let the Spider-Man play?
No, so
Again, I imagine they have to. Like, there's no way they haven't built up so much without already having something ironclad.
I think that was the thing, right? After the last Spider-Man, I think their deal was like officially done with, like, because they had a deal where you could get Spider-Man for these movies as long as you had someone appear alongside Spider-Man in his corresponding movies, right?
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, but we already know we're getting a Spider-Man TV series from them as well.
Which I
We're
don't think is
getting
gonna have
the
any big
different-
pertinence though.
But it's still the fact that it's still the IP, so they have to have something there.
freshman year one.
Pepperoni, yeah, Shang-Chi is part of the Avengers. Is kind of what they're saying on there. Sony's
Yeah.
own universe is falling, so I feel like they'd have to.
See, that's.
I mean, we do have the end of Venom.
Money without.
Do we think we see
can
Venom in
say-
Secret Wars?
Part of me hopes so because we do have a piece of it here, but I hope
Yeah.
that we don't have anything to do with the other.
I would hope. I would want Tom Hardy in Secret Wars. I think it just you gotta just make it this whole because Secret Wars is the giant blob of everything. So
I'm just
Yeah.
not a fan of those movies, but
plus that's a way that if he's
Every
done with the
Avenger.
role, I don't know how he's feeling or how he's sounding after this role, but if he's done with that role, you can kill that role off after that too.
and see that's the sad part, right? Is like I feel like Venom has room for more stuff to be done, but
But yeah, okay, so yeah, Abe already has the thing, and you know it's gonna happen, right? But Abe already mentioned it, and it's like, doesn't the spider have the black suit in Secret Wars? That's where the black suit spawned in, and I feel like that's what's gonna happen. Like it has to happen. I'm sure that's like one of the first few things they mentioned. Like, what are the key moments you want to happen in Secret Wars? the black suit.
And I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, but I'd be the first person to say that's probably a step too far. That's like the I'm perfectly fine with fan service, but that's the level of fan service. It's like I get what people are talking about when they do like the Glup Shido meme now.
Yeah, but so that's what I'm saying. So Secret Wars is the big one, bigger
That's
than
kind of like overly telegraphed, because like going into Endgame, I didn't think Cap was gonna lift Mjolnir, right? That's a
Mhm.
moment
Yeah.
that happens in the comics, but I didn't think it was gonna happen there. Going into Secret Wars, I'm like, all right, Spider-Man's gonna get his black suit. When's it gonna happen?
Right.
If they toy with that, then I'd be okay with it. Like the hot tub time machine chainsaw bit. If they toy with it, like, oh, he's gonna, oh, it didn't happen. Oh, he's gonna, oh, it didn't
Well,
happen. Then
we're gonna have the spiders again. They're gonna
Yeah.
reunite again in Secret Wars.
Are we gonna get them all though? Like,
Again, that's what I'm saying. If we look at, and this is kind of what I was saying, like going from like a casual into like learning more about this whole thing. Endgame is by all intents and purposes like the biggest thing you could do. Secret Wars
I
is
think
bigger.
Endgame like rallied a lot of those old actors as well too. I feel like a lot of people seeing that and like, holy fuck, that's like a cultural moment.
And they want part in.
I feel
Or
like,
they want in on
right.
that.
Yeah.
I agree. But to get to call Secret Wars the biggest Marvel story, because it really is, you have to really call upon everyone, right? And it's got to be like, and that's
for
kind of
sure.
what hurts a lot of the stuff that we're gonna see. Like you're gonna see like all these things that like you thought were gonna happen. Like No Way Home's like a one time thing. It's gonna happen again. I think that's why it never really made it a definitive goodbye, right? It was like that hug at the end of No Way Home was sweet.
It was like a see you later.
Yeah, it did not feel
I'll
like
see
a
you again.
goodbye forever. That was fun. It was like a I'll see you guys some other day. Um, that's what a lot of these moments in the MCU have been feeling, right? Like we've never really closed off paths. It's more like we'll see you in a bit. And I think that's what Secret Wars has to be. If it's going to be this big production, which there's so Disney's sneaking like a lot of money in because, I mean, they got $4 billion out of Infinity War and Endgame, right? They kind of can and still make money, but like you have to really sink all of that in there. And I think that's kind of where we're going to go with this. I think we're going to see Sony verse. I think we're going to see Fox verse. I think we're going to see a lot of these like one-offs in there. Ghost Rider probably gonna show up, like like we're gonna see all that stuff. Because it doesn't really get any bigger than Secret Wars, and this is the perfect spot to hit that reset button because it doesn't get bigger than that. Man, as much as I can, as much as hype me up, I can't wait for them to take a break from the multiverse shenanigans. That's what I'm saying. So it's like we're getting big, but like we can't do that forever.
I feel like there's a lot of room in between that. There's no multiverse shenanigans. There's a lot of room in between them where you can find the bright spots that you'd want.
Right.
I mean, we've had Black Panther 2, we've had Guardians of the Galaxy, we've had all these.
Yeah, but
different
also
movies.
think about like how far back those were, because it's not like regular comics where you're always getting something new to kind of read and kind of tide you over. If you're not interested in a particular storyline, we're talking like months to years in between certain points of a storyline. So when that is kind of like the hot thing, knowing it's still probably going to be a year plus until we get the next thing.
Yeah, and I think that's just kind of on me too, being the fan that is tuned into it. And I'm watching them, and I may not enjoy them all, and I may not like remember them all, but I'm still watching them. So I'm taking in the content. So I'm not getting all just the multiversal stuff. I'm getting the little street level shit that She-Hulk is doing. I'm getting the street level shit that Echo's fucking off and doing that I don't give two shits about. So.
Yeah.
I'm not just solely getting the Deadpool and Wolverines or the multiverses, the madnesses and shit like that.
Yeah, because I'm definitely not following everything. I'm doing basically like I would for comics. I'm following the characters I care about, and that's kind of it. And if there's something that comes up where it's like, oh, something is going to be really important to this character's arc, well, fuck it. I guess I got to go watch that thing.
Yep.
But because of that, it can definitely leave a lot of weird gaps into moving away from certain types of storylines.
Right. That's I feel like where I was at kind of landed at a decent spot. Like I had not seen Loki season 2 aside from the first episode. Didn't see Echo. saw the first episode of Secret Invasion. And I feel like I haven't missed too much, but those are stuff I'll go back to eventually. It just got overloaded with so much. And that's what comics are though, is you don't have to read every single one. In fact, you're encouraged to read what you want. But I just feel like because the MCU was really an event, right? It's like you can commit 3 times a year to going to the movies. Cool. And that means you're caught up on every aspect of it. Even then, if you don't want to, you can miss a movie or two here. There's essential watching if you need to. But after the MCU became so abundant of content with Disney Plus, it wasn't doable for every single person anymore. What do we think is going to be this? And I'll take the spoilers for Deadpool Wolverine off, so we'll start moving away from that. But what do we think is this plot for Doomsday? How we think this folds in? Because I know Kel's is theory craft and everything. Is Echo any good, by the way? Ask Pepperoni.
Almost entirely forgettable. Deadpool, the Daredevil fight's really cool though.
I heard it wasn't bad, but yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So I know I know Kel's been theory crafting, but where do we think Doomsday is going? What do we think is happening?
We're gonna get a Young Avengers or Thunderbolts team that's gonna get their asses fucking kicked, I think.
Yeah.
You think we take casualties?
If not casualties, like a lot of really I think this might be the situation where Bucky might die. That might be like a big one.
Yeah, I was gonna say it depends on which team it is. Like if it's Thunderbolts, 100% we're getting death.
Well, I think it'd be really serendipitous if we get RDJ killing Bucky, for one, just because like he gets one back on him after. Even if it's not specifically that Tony or whatever, like he still killed his parents.
For the audience, it's a fucking goddamn the term is escaping me right now, but a full circle moment essentially.
Right.
They kind of hinted at that too. I mean, at Comic-Con he mentioned Winter Soldier's had like 9 lives. How much more times can I keep reliving?
Yeah, it's either that or I think Winter Soldier's gonna die to Sentry. That might be a cool moment too. Just Sentry rips him in half or something. Because that's another big thing with Thunderbolts. Supposedly we're getting the introduction of Sentry, and if we get Sentry, I don't know what the fuck that's gonna have to do with anything going forward too. Because Sentry's like another Omega level threat. He's another one. He has like split personality or whatever the fuck it is. He has like an alternate like identity that's like an inverse. I think it's called like the Void or some shit like that. Yeah.
I've been wanting to read those comics.
Yeah, he's like Superman on crack and with mental issues.
So reminds me of what is it? Hold on. Who's the DC Mr. Miracle?
Yeah.
Reminds me of a lot of that. I could see Bucky dying. I could see what's his name?
But yeah, I essentially think we're gonna get a team that's gonna get their asses kicked, and it's kind of like gonna set the stakes for Secret Wars. We're gonna need a multiversal Avengers team, essentially.
Which I'm curious if they'll try to pull in something close to what we had in What If, or if we'll do something entirely different.
I think it'd be cool if we got like 1 or 2 like of those What If moments where it's like something that we haven't seen, but something that's like huge that people would be like soy facing over, and then the rest are probably gonna be like
the Watcher. I think, right?
I mean, the Watcher. I think we're gonna have an introduction to the Watcher probably, anyways. Like he's gonna try to set things right, maybe.
And then, would you think we'll see either that Doom or not that Doom? The Doctor Strange died, right?
Yeah, he got thrown on the fence.
No, the one from season 1 that everyone thought was cool, and then back in season 2, I forget a lot about what happened in season 2. But I think they went back on that. There's that one brand new character from What If though. That's definitely
Corey.
that one's definitely gonna fold in on all this.
Yeah, that'd be really cool too. I thought they were gonna do something with her in Echo, but they never went that way. Went the whole native route with her.
Red Guardian, think they're gonna get killed off?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm surprised he didn't get killed off in Black Widow. Like that would have been the point to do it.
Right. But I could see this one
Especially
being.
with Yelena being there. That's the perfect moment to
I
kind of set the stakes for her.
I think since they're together now, though, I think that's what's going to happen here.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
could I could see this being Red Guardian getting murked in Thunderbolts, and then Bucky getting murked in Doomsday.
Do you think Red Hulk will play a part in the new Avengers team? No, I think it's gonna reinforce him as president. People are gonna love him being a giant angry monster.
We're watching The Boys.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly what's gonna be. People are gonna be impressed by his show of power. It's gonna we're gonna see his the numbers go up. His approval rating is flown through the roof. He
Hey,
beat
he's
a
like that
terrorist
one
to
guy,
death
but
with
he's
his own
red.
hand.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there'd be a really cool moment there too, with the whole have a moment of wow, people hate me because of this, but they love you because of this. What the fuck's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
They think I'm a monster, but you're a hero.
No, if anything, I could see them potentially trying to bring back She-Hulk and slowly build her into that. Although they might wait to have her interact more with Fantastic Four and kind of go down that route.
God, that'd be so cool. I'd love to see her interact with that time period and everything, the
Yes.
setting that would be painted there.
I want to see her and Deadpool together.
That too.
They just have a conversation with the audience.
She turns to look at the camera, but in the background you see Deadpool turning and looking at his camera.
Yeah, they look back, or I could see them as doing that whole almost like a Dora the Explorer thing where they both talk to the camera, like, "Can you guys see this?" But what do we? So, what is? How does Doomsday factor in? I'm just want to get that before we step out of here, because we don't have Doctor Doom in the MCU as we know of yet. I'm of the mind that Doom from Fantastic Four is gonna also follow them into this one, and follow along on that path. I think, however, the Fantastic Four get into our universe is the same one that Doctor Doom gets in. It's the same way that Doctor Doom gets into our place as well.
I think that's the big missing key here for me. I think Fantastic Four and Captain America are gonna be the big moments that are gonna show us what's happening, right? Because I think Fantastic Four comes out next year, right?
1 year from now.
Yeah, because it's within 2 weeks of Superman or some shit.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's straight up like a full year of production. It's right
Yeah,
now
so-
they are filming as of today,
Mhm.
and they're gonna be out in a year. So Godspeed to the VFX artist on that one.
Right, goddamn. Yeah, so that means we're gonna get Captain America in February, and then we'll get Fantastic Four in into July.
Right. And I think the way it's probably gonna roll out though, and I because they need to nail Fantastic Four. That's the one that they need to hit above every other one. I think what I
I'd
could see happen.
say they could potentially flub it, hit the reset, and X-Men could be the reboot point. But I see what you mean though.
Right. I just really they need to nail Fantastic Four though. I think they really need the energy on it. And so what I think might happen.
It's weird how they've hinged all their bets on that, right? I feel like it's so weird, how they've done that.
I think so too, but it just. I mean, I could see the vision of it though.
I can see the vision, but I don't feel like it's the clear vision. I feel like there was a very clear path to go with the X-Men and make a shit ton of money and have the potential to do it right.
It's simple. Hope Summers just comes out of nowhere and is like, well, this was all a mistake, and just
I could see them though, if they're not confident in it, flipping Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four next year. Because I know Thunderbolts has been shooting for a while.
I think they have.
They already wrapped for sure.
Stuff. Yeah, because I know they had troubles because Stephen Ewan was supposed to be Sentry originally, and then they were having rewrites and
Everyone had
delays.
rewrites.
Yeah, and he just fell off of it.
Yeah. But Florence Pugh put out footage of them on set a while back. It's months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And so I could see them just swapping Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's a really quick
Thunderbolts
turnaround.
I feel like Thunderbolts is the one that we just do not really need. But for some reason they're kind of hinging their bets on it, and I think it's gonna be because of Sentry and a post-credit scene, which is gonna suck ass. because we're gonna be sitting there. But this is gonna be. I feel like Thunderbolts is gonna be the movie that everyone's gonna be pissed about. It's gonna be the one where they're gonna be like, "Oh, Marvel L. Oh, they're losing their touch," because I think it's gonna be the most mid out of the movies that they're releasing on the slate.
Which
Yeah.
that might be a reason to push it up though, because you always want to like leave Fantastic
True.
Four to be like there, right?
Hey,
yeah.
that sucks, but hey, it's fine. This is right around the corner. It's fine.
Right.
You gotta have your veggies first sometimes.
Plus-
yeah, watch this movie for the mid post credits or whatever,
Plus, if it's a
which will
flub,
probably be Fantastic Four.
because check this out, if it's a flub, it'll be right around the time of Comic-Con. They could just put out more news and just hide it away.
You know what? If it's a flub, it's fine. Those characters die in the reboot anyway. So,
I do
but
like
if
that.
everyone surprisingly loves it, then you get to come back.
I like the cast though. I'm still excited to see Ghost. Honestly, I like Ghost in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
I feel like we could have just forgotten about Ghost.
That dude,
Yeah.
that suit is sick. I'll never forget about that dude.
It is cool, but her character is just wholly uninteresting for me.
Which
Like
that- Go ahead.
I like the whole like storyline there with what's his name, Goliath.
Mhm.
I think that's really cool. I'd love to see Samuel oh god damn it, Morpheus back. I think that'd be really cool to see. I'd love to see more of his character just in general in the MCU, even if it's not him in a suit. I thought he was a really cool, interesting character there for what's his name? Not Hank. Yeah, who plays Hank Pym?
Michael.
Old dude.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, that's gonna bug me. Gecko.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think it'd be really cool to see him back, but if that's the way that we get it is with Ghost, so be it. Fuck it. I guess that's
See,
the cross I bear.
That's kind of what I appreciate about. It's like it's Marvel Suicide Squad currently, right? But it's like, can you guys make me like characters more that you guys didn't quite get nailed down the first time? You know.
And that's what's gonna bum me out about whenever they kill off Red Guardian in it. I'm like,
You know you're gonna like
"No,
him,
it
right?"
should have been Ghost. Yeah.
But it's like I just hope that they're gonna like write them in better.
Yeah, you would hope, and I honestly don't even know who's like attached to it, like production, directing, or anything like that. So
Let's see.
hasn't dinged any bells on my radar, at least. Did you see the Fantastic Four trailer? Yeah, we've seen it, or me and Adrian have at least.
Let's see, Jake Schreier. What has he done?
Yeah, no fucking
He writes about video games.
clue. Jason.
He's directed Beef.
Oh. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean that's I guess it's not a bad place to go from, huh?
Yeah, and what the hell is the asterisk for Thunderbolts? Good point. I want to fucking know. You tell me right now.
He's acting very coy about that.
I'm really surprised we didn't get a reveal for that at Comic-Con as
He
well.
was saying you guys will have to just like find out later, and it's like I was like, what the fuck?
You know what? They're gonna steal Ryan Reynolds' idea. They're gonna have it be a Thunderbolts film, but they're gonna bait and switch and it be an entirely different movie.
The Proposal 2.
But real talk, how wild would that fucking be? If that actually was the whole point. Like, knowing that this is like the most mid fucking cast that they've done nothing to build up and prepare with, and say, fuck it. Let's go ahead. We'll be coy. We'll put the little asterisk in there. No one's that excited about this film, anyways. And then, surprise, motherfucker, you get, I don't know, fucking Midnight Suns or some shit.
See,
Well, that's what they did with Captain America Civil War, right? It was originally Serpent Society when they announced it.
Yeah.
And then they changed the name to Civil War.
On one hand, yes, I mean, like, on paper, yes, get your best characters, team them up. But, like, on the other hand, too, I'm also okay with a movie that just takes all the outcasts that we have not quite brewed up yet and make something of them. Like, yeah, Bucky is really the only one that's like, of, like, dedicated, like, all right, we all know we love him. but like John Walker, I like John Walker a lot in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I liked him a lot. I want him more of him, right? I want more Yelena. I like Elena.
I want more of like Bucky beating his ass. Like that's what I'd prefer to
Which
see.
we'll get that though. We're gonna get a fight between them, right? They're gonna like be at each other's throats a lot. So it's like I want to see that build up, right? Let's see these characters really bicker, and really find like they're gonna find each other's like buttons and really bicker at them and push at them. That they're gonna finally get along and they're gonna get fucked, and then we're gonna move on
Literally, in the ass.
at some point. Disney will allow it now.
Yeah, Sentry's just gonna turn Red Guardian into like toothpaste. Just fucking squeeze his insides out.
It reminds me of every time when they do have the Suicide Squad go against something that's like, you guys have no chance at this. The fuck?
What are we, some kind of Suicide Squad?
I want to rewatch that movie again. It was so good. Really quick, also side note, not really a spoiler, but man, that soundtrack in Deadpool Wolverine's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like every song
That
choice
fucking
was just
slaps.
like so good. The song choice at the very end, the climactic part, right? It was so good.
What's fascinating too, my partner was telling me about this. I guess Madonna is
Watch
very selective. I thought you saw the thing up. She is usually like super stupid selective about what is allowed of hers to be put into films and whatnot, to the point that you basically have to write like a master thesis and sell it to her why you want to use some of her songs in there. And I guess after Ryan Reynolds had explained the whole breakdown of the scene to her, she actually was like, not only are you going to use that, I want you to make these edits because I think you'd get more impact out of it that way. And they went with her suggestions.
I think
which is
she did that on
wild.
Carpet as well. That was really cool to see.
If Harry says, please tell me we got The Greatest Showman for at least 2 minutes. Sadly,
They got it for 2 seconds.
yeah, which I knew. I was like, oh, I caught it. I was hoping there would have been a gag with that, like an actual bigger gag on that, but there wasn't. But you hear it. Anyway, anything else we have to say on all that? Do we want to talk any more on this whole Robert Downey Jr. thing, or?
The
No.
people getting upsetty about it, I think, are fucking stupid. Pick up a comic book. People come back from the dead all the time.
I don't
Quit
think
crying,
I get
let
that
it play out.
part of me understands it's a huge bag, so how can he say no? But like RDJ was very visibly done with the MCU afterwards, and after being like now like an Oscar-winning actor on that front, like yeah, you get bigger bags going back, but like it has to be something of note.
I feel like there has to have been like a roughed outline there for him too. Like they had to have presented something to him, like, hey, this is what we're thinking, and then he laid out his demands, right?
Right.
I just don't think he went into it blind.
Yeah, because like again, I get that it's a huge bag, but like, when you leave a character, like same thing with Hugh Jackman, right? When you leave a character on such an amazing note, I can imagine it's hard for you to want to like ever go back to that character, especially the actor, right? Because it's like you let that character, you let him go. Like, how do you do that? But like, you have to have a reason to come back and have trust in people. So like Hugh Jackman, I guess, has that in Ryan Reynolds. Hopefully, Robert Downey Jr. has that with the Russos and which one? Because there's only one of the writers coming back from the last Avengers.
Yeah, I remember seeing that too, but I don't remember which one it was.
Christopher, no, was it Christopher
McFeely?
Marcus, I think, or Steve McFeely?
I can't remember.
Writer. Where is this at? Oh my god, I hate when all these fucking ads are. I forget. One of them's come back. I'm not. There's always supposed to have 45 ads. Yeah, so one of them's come back. So not both of them. But I just have to say that I think Robert Downey Jr. is not just doing it for the bag. I feel like yeah, it's obvious, but like he doesn't need to. He's now an award-winning actor. He kind of has a lot more just pull and getting those really cool movies right. It's like it's kind of like where Daniel Radcliffe and why am I blanking
Yeah,
on his
they can
fucking
just kind
name?
of do whatever now. Robert
Rupert.
Pattinson.
Yeah, where there's
Yeah,
like, cool,
yeah.
I got
They can
money.
bankroll their passion projects now.
Yeah, which is fantastic. Which I felt like that was gonna be RDJ's move, but again, if he's back, I feel like there's something there.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're good with Marvel now. Let's see, David, what did you get this week?
Hell yeah. So I don't have a fuck ton, because I had to replace a lot of shit in the house. I had to buy a new vacuum. I had to buy a new dishwasher. Homeownership is a scam.
Show those off. Let me see the.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the dishwasher gets here on Friday. But
Howard the Duck and MCU be sick.
so a couple things I
He's
got.
somewhere in there.
Cheap Japanese imports, because that's just been my guilty pleasure as of late. World Neverland 2 on PlayStation 1. Simple Series The Race on PlayStation 1. This I got just because I used to quite enjoy this manga back in the day. Get Backers, the game. I finally got the first game in the Banshee's Cry series. This is the game that I showed off the PS2 sequel a while back. I was like, this is like the weird game by Chunsoft back before they were Spike Chunsoft, where they were like insanely meta and like insulting the audience and basically like Yoko Taro level shit of like, we're under duress doing this. This game is haunted kind of type shit. This is the first game in the series. So excited to have that. Now I'm only missing one of them. I picked up this. Anyone that has a PS3 knows the frustrations of using it with capture devices or scalers or anything. But this HDMI switch does do HDPC stripping, so that way you can get past the protection on the PS3, so I can finally use it with my fucking upscaler. And then lastly, this is just something that's really stupid and neat. We're doing a big spring clean essentially at work right now, where we are throwing out and retiring a lot of shit. I spent my entire day disassembling fleets of fucking XP computers to go out to the dump and to recycling for all the electronics. And my boss found this thing, which is really fucking sweet. It's a rack-mounted keyboard, but it's more than just a rack-mounted keyboard. Fucking open, you piece of shit. Operate.
And that's why it was going to the dump.
I got this
no,
really cool
it's
thing,
going to the
guys. Hold
dump.
on.
Yeah. No, it's going to the dump because we don't have a need for these.
Of course.
But it is
Oh.
keyboard, but it's got cherry red keys and a server keyboard. I don't know why. I don't know what weird ass motherfucker decided that a server fucking mounted keyboard needed cherry red mechanical keys. But bless that fucking person's heart. So I got one, my boss got one, but he deshelled his, and I'm gonna deshell mine. But I keep the shell because now I can just throw it in the server rack and get free server rack shelving. Because normally it can be like 30 to fucking $50 for a shelf. And that's a lot of money. But why do that when I can just get this sweet ass fucking mechanical keyboard and just husk that out and just use it in there. So there'll be some beautiful. Also, I didn't point this out the other week, but I got my rack studs in, and they're now in there. They work wonderful. I love it. Highly recommend rack studs. Fantastic, easy installation, holds a lot of weight. And that's it. That's all I got, and that'll be the bulk of what I get for a little while.
Kells.
Nothing for me this week.
Hell yeah, this man knows
Hell
how to save
yeah.
money.
Yeah, I grabbed those popcorn buckets. I grabbed some last minute 360 stuff.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I went on there. We'll talk about that later on. But yeah, I grabbed a few last second games. Anything that I I grabbed a handful of exclusives. I had a handful of games that were like $1 each, $2 each. Downloading on my 360 is a bitch when it's not hardwired now. It just disconnects Wi-Fi every now and then, so I need to go fix that. Unspeakable Things to the bucket? No, that thing's not. That thing didn't even get popcorn in it like it should have. I'm just like, nope, leave it because I don't want to clean it. I'm good. It was like a pain in the ass to clean. All right, what did we all play, David? What'd you play this week?
I am finally free. I have finished my journey until the answer comes out. Persona 3 Reload. And I will say,
I love it.
It's
This
the greatest game. I loved it.
Yeah, I liked it.
Great
You know
all
what? I
around.
take it back.
no, absolutely not. I will say, I do see why people by the game's end really love it, because the ending is very poignant. The end to Persona 3 is a very somber, very bittersweet, enjoyable ending. It's not overstated, it's not overdone. It very much lets you just sit quietly in the moment of what's going on. And I really appreciate it, especially considering, how wild and bombastic 4's ending is, how wild and bombastic 5 ends, and the insanity that is the original Persona 3 trilogy. It is a game that I can understand why some people do hold it in their heart. I am not one of those people, because fuck you. I also have to make a slight amendment to my playtime, because I realized something. My playtime was still, I did rough math, and I still technically in total spent 120 hours on it, but I realized something fucky was going on with my playtime, because when I went to, I completely close out of the game when I'm done with it. But every so often, especially during late night sessions, I get lazy and I just switch to Amazon Prime, throw on a bedtime thing, and just pass the fuck out. I realized something, though, which is the game timer still counts down when that's going. Because I realized when I went back into Persona, I was like, oh, fuck, I don't remember if I actually saved. And then I would go and save, and I'm like, wait, why did my timer jump up by like 4 hours all of a sudden? And then I did the math, and that's what I have the Xbox sleep timer set to. So I realized there must have been many sessions where I was going to bed with something else, forgetting to quit out of the game, and suddenly my time's inflating by 4 hours each time. So that's fun. Because my end playtime was like 160 hours, and I was like, there's no way I played like 30 hours this past week when like I played this game twice. So yeah, I realized fuckery was happening with that, but I still think I probably put 120 hours in a supposedly 70-hour game. Fuck RNG. Shuffle time is the most heinous, disgusting mechanic ever put in a fucking video game. Truly, anyone that actually likes fucking shuffle time is an absolute fucking psychopath. No normal human should enjoy that mechanic and ever think of it as good gameplay. The whole time. And also, like, waiting for Reaper is a thing that always kind of sucks a little bit in the new Persona games. I hate waiting around for Reaper. It's such an arbitrary wait for him to fucking happen. I fucking timed it because I'm like, I don't remember waiting for Reaper to be this long in Persona 5. It once took Reaper 15 fucking minutes to spawn. And he has the fastest way to grind for XP. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, there's no fucking way. And I'm timing it. And I'm doing server work at the same time, working on my home server. And it gets to a certain point where like I've like transferred over 40 fucking gigabytes of data. And I have a 2.5 gig connection hardwired. But still, I feel like a good chunk of time has passed to transfer 40 gigs of data. And so I look over and I see my little timer. It's like, yeah, no, it's been like 5 minutes. Wait a second, it's been 5 minutes and this fucker still's on. And yeah, 15 fucking minutes. And you have to go up the next floor because you won't respawn on the same floor you've already killed him on. Although randomly, sometimes after you kill him, he gets mad and just respawns immediately on the next floor. And I'm like, well, thank you for saving me some time and effort, but like, that's weird. I just kicked your ass downstairs. Why are you back already? Yeah, I don't like anything gameplay wise with this game, although it's fucking enjoyable over original 3. Anyone that defends 3 FES for giving you the or for not having the ability to control your party because it adds to the tactical gameplay, eat my ass. It does not add to tactical gameplay. It gives you again more randomization. Because this is the thing no one fucking talks about when they're like, Reload is such a shitty, horrible remake. There are some scene differences, yes. If you go back and you watch the cutscenes that happen in FES versus the cutscenes that happen in Reload, they did tone some things down. They did tone down a lot of the violence, and I do think that they made people talk way too fucking much. There's definitely a lot of over explaining that happens in this game, but I get it. They realize that at this point, media literacy is dead, and we need to just fucking blanket explain some things because otherwise people are too dumb to get it. I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but at the same time, I understand that's the world we live in. But comma, however, the shit no one ever talks about when they're like, "Oh, FES is flawless. You can't do that." So one, no, you fuck right on with shuffle time. Two, in the original FES, you couldn't control your party. You had this AI like action menu of like, go all out, be defensive, go ahead and only cast healing and support shit. Try to only exploit weaknesses and like a dozen like some odd things. And it is functional, but that's all it is. It's functional. It gives you no real feeling of input or control in the fight, and you're just kind of hoping the AI is setting up for what you want it to do. Added on to that is this was during the dark era of S&T where they decided skills needed to be randomized. Whenever you fuse a demon in SMT Nocturne, or whenever you fused a persona in 3, the skills they get are randomized. So you often would spend time legitimately reloading your save, quitting out of the game, reload, probably for like 10 plus minutes because the RNG of what skills you got on your persona would just be jacked to shit. And you would basically keep doing that until you got something that was good enough. You would never get the skill set that you want. You would just get like, well, it can exploit a weakness reliably, I guess. And it can sometimes cover a weakness. I guess this will do. I don't get any weirdo that fucking defends that shit either. I don't even like it as a hardcore SMT fan. I think it's dumb. I think it adds needless difficulty and just artificially creates a thing where, kind of like older Fire Emblem games having permanent death for your party. It's not, you're just creating an arbitrary point where I'm not going to go and be like, oh, well, I guess I'll go continue on this character. No, I'm going to go reload and fucking achieve it, make sure everyone survives, and then move on with my day. So yeah, I gameplay wise, it's not. Reload is the most functionally playable version of Persona 3. And I like that it doesn't have the shit from fucking Portable that ruins the story, or just plain weird and icky with the Persona 3 Portable. However, there's one thing with Persona 3 Portable that I do appreciate, and I know it's controversial, but I do like that the game is presented more like a visual novel because honestly, a lot of the walking around town and talking to the local populace shit is kind of pointless. It's kind of unnecessary, and it's just a weird time sink that does nothing for you in terms of enjoying the overall story. All of that to say, I am glad I'm fucking done this game. I will never revisit Persona 3 except to play the answer, and then I will be glad to be fucking done with it and will never have to worry about that game again in my life.
How does that fit in? Is it like standalone? Is it post the campaign?
So the way that the answer works is it's set basically like a week or two after the main story. Um, the story ends in a kind of ambiguous way, and the answers exactly what happens at the end of the game. So, and it kind of goes into a lot of the thematics. Now, I will say, if you are someone that wants to go through the journey of playing the original Persona trilogy, 1, 2 Innocent Sin, and 2 Eternal Punishment, you do get a bit of extra interesting details playing Persona 3. There are things that tie in from the original trilogy into 3. The Kirijo group is actually an offshoot of the Namjo group, which is a prominent figure in that, as well as in Persona 1, you actually also fight Nyx. And there's a little bit of foreshadowing of plans of Nyx that leads into events of Persona 3. But it's kind of one of those things that I can't recommend it. I don't know. Like, so many people were like, "Oh, you play Persona 3 because it's total package, and then you play 4 for the characters and 5 for the gameplay." It's like, no, it's all wrong. 5 is fucking solid. It has problematic points to it. Don't get me wrong. 5 is not a flawless game by any stretch of the imagination. But of modern Persona, it's the best fucking one. Bar fucking none. Most likable characters, most engaging story, uh, easily best fucking gameplay. I absolutely could not recommend most people going back and playing 3 and fucking 4. Shuffle time is the devil. That is the end of my rant. I'm done.
Is that all you played?
That is all I played because I needed to get that fucking done.
Understandable. Kels?
So I've been playing more NCAA. Still super solid. I'm starting to get to the point where I'm taking it very personal whenever recruits don't put me in like their top 8 to come to my school. It's like, come on, dude, I'm undefeated. What else do I have to do here?
Beat their team now.
Right. I think I'm like week 5 or 6 because they just released like the early Heisman rankings and my running back's not in it yet. So that's also kind of like giving me a chip on my shoulder. It's like, all right, fuck you guys. I think I'm like 12th in the rankings, still not cracked top 10. So we're almost there. Um, Outside of that though, it's still a lot of fun. Outside of that, I talked about earlier, been playing some Marvel Rivals.
Hell yeah, how is that?
Yeah, it's so much fun. For me, whenever it comes out full launch, Overwatch is getting uninstalled from my computer.
Yeah. I mean, it
Yeah,
should be anyways, but
yeah, for sure. The big thing with Overwatch is it's a good crossplay
You
game.
hear 6v6 is coming back?
Yeah, it's gonna be like a experimental mode or whatever. But I think if you're already doing that, you're gonna bring it back. I think they're just kind of like prototyping, getting the kinks ironed out or something. Let us play test it.
Mhm.
But Marvel Rivals 6v6 already. The characters are really great. The move sets are really cool. It gives you like the power fantasy of playing XYZ character. Um,
How's it?
really
How's the speed?
cool. I feel like the speed's really good. Some characters are really fast, some are slow. You get like a really good feel for them. Like certain characters will get so they work it. How they make their characters is insane. It's something that I really wish like Overwatch would have done, but I feel like Marvel Rivals is just kicking it, taking it out of the park. Yeah, a Pepperoni mentioned Jeff. Jeff the Land Shark is a fucking character. Like it's like an
Not an
abnormal
MCU
character
game.
model. Yeah, it's not like a shooter. Like sure you have like Wrecking Ball and Winston in Overwatch, but I don't think they've done anything daring like that. Like they've hinted at doing like Jetpack Cat, but they've never pulled the trigger on that one. But yeah, great game. Been having a lot of fun with it.
how are
Favorite
the
character?
destructible environments? Because that really caught my eye in the trailer. Does it feel like it actually alter gameplay, kind of like a Battlefield sense,
It
or?
it 100% does because whenever you drop stuff, for like it stays permeant for a little while. Like if you drop like a roof down, like it'll stay up there and take up space. Like you have to like work your way around it, break it down more, or just find a way through. After a while, it'll disappear and the buildings rebuild if like enough action stops taking place there, which is
Hmm.
cool because it kind of like resets everything. But yeah, no, the environment destruction, I feel like it's very apparent, and it's a big part of the gameplay. There's been a few times where like you can knock out a hole in the wall and get like a sight line, especially if you're like up top. There's a lot of verticality to it. A lot of characters fly, so it's really interesting. Especially being having Overwatch being the immediate comparison to it, because I feel like there's not a whole lot of that in Overwatch.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty sweet. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and like I said, a lot of the characters are just fucking awesome, and just how they play and like how they interact. Because like you have a thing called team up abilities. Like certain characters just have certain synergies. Like so you have Luna Snow. Her thing is she like makes snow, but she's a healer. But she pairs with Namor and Jeff, and makes it to where they can do like ice abilities instead of just water abilities. Thor can team up with Storm and like supercharge her with Mjolnir. And there's just a lot of characters like that that just have interconnecting like abilities.
It
That work
feels like
together.
that Overwatch 2 cinematic trailer the first time it came out. Remember when you saw the
Yeah,
Brigitte
for
and
real.
Reinhardt throw out that big shield up? It's like, yeah, that'd be cool if we
Yeah,
got some more of that kind of stuff.
yeah, no, exactly. Like another one is Magneto and Scarlet Witch. Like Scarlet Witch gives him like, or Venom, and Venom, because you have Venom,
Venom.
Penny, and Spider Man so far in the game. So Venom with the other two, he gives them like a symbiote attack.
That's
Which
cool.
is
So
really cool.
it emphasizes personal pairings too. So like if we're like on a
For
team,
sure.
we should like really, even though you're like on Overwatch, yeah, I'm good at McCree and Farah, but you'd be like, all right, well, I'd rather like try to like create that synergy with your people that you team up with a lot to be like, all right, well, for sure we can do this.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where it's not essential. It's not like an auto win if you do that. So it's not like you're made to feel like you need to, but it is one of those things like you get the bonus and it feels cool doing it at the same time.
Nice. Pepperoni asked, who's your main?
Ooh, that's tough. It feels kind of vanilla, but I've been playing a lot of Punisher. He's just super, just stupid strong. Especially since a bunch of people have been playing like the flying guys, so you need like a good hit scan to just be able to shoot him out of the sky.
Hmm.
But fun factor wise, Iron Man's really fun. It's kind of like you're playing Anthem while everyone else is playing Overwatch. Uh, Star Lord's really fun. He's kind of like a tracer that can like move vertically. Like he has his jet boots. You can move like 360 degrees. It's really cool. Um, I don't know. It's really hard to describe because a lot of them are really fun. Venom's really fun. He's like Wrecking Ball. Like your whole thing is you want to swing, ram into people, and then dive down onto people and just start smacking them around. It's really weird. Like a lot of the characters are just like you find the character that you like because like the hero that you like, your attachment to the characters, and then after that you can kind of like get that character expression through it. It's really cool.
Do you think it'd work if they made a story mode? I'm still butthurt after Overwatch 2 failed at that.
They have lore wrapped into it. Like there is a story, and in each character, you get like a biography of the character, like general biography, and you get like a lore, like synopsis on like where they were and like what their tie to it all is. So that could be a big thing because we mentioned it a little bit. Comic Con they announced new characters. Thor and Jeff got announced, but also Doctor Doom. And I think Doctor Doom's like the big pivotal piece to this too. So he's probably gonna have something to do with it all. And they've all been getting like cinematic trailers too. So I mean, they've
Ooh.
yeah, they're and it's all like just a beta so far.
Can you
So it's
imagine
kind of
how
crazy.
sick it's gonna be when everyone, me and the crew, we made all the Midnight Suns and we all synergized together.
Right, exactly. That's what's cool so far. And like right now, there's already like two synergies that kind of work. So Hela, Loki, and Thor synergize, but Thor also synergizes with Storm and Captain America, I think. So I mean, technically, there's a team of six right there that all synergize together.
Nice.
That's pretty fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Nice. Anything else?
Uh, no, I think those are the only ones I've been playing. I've been playing a lot of that.
I booted up Pokemon Scarlet
Mm.
about 2 hours in. The performance is ass.
Hell yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah,
so
it
choppy.
is. Yeah.
Um, it feels really weird just being kind of like that hybrid of like Arceus and like traditional Pokemon. Um, so far I'm okay with it though. Right now I'm just kind of going through it. makes me kind of want to play one more simpler games. Cause like I kind of want to go through a game, but it's like so much talking and so much walking.
Yeah, the first time I tried to play it, I was in a car playing it, and I got really car sick, and so it kind of like turned me off to the game in general.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
yep.
really frame ratey. But yeah, been playing a lot of X Defiant still.
Nice.
I boot up Multiversus and holy fuck, Samurai Jack is OP as shit right now.
Is
There, he is busted, dude. I'm like I don't know what to do. I know like it modified so Finn doesn't play. His smash attacks are not the same as they were before, so it's not as cheap, I guess. But dude, like dude just swings everywhere with like so little cooldown on his moves, and it's just like I can't. I looked online too to see, and yeah, the subreddit is just blowing up with like, yeah, everyone in ranked right now is playing is Samurai Jack, which on one hand is cool, but one hand is like, dude, balance your shit, yo. I get
It's
new
cool though
characters
that
have
they
to be
do
OP.
kinda like, yeah, exactly. That's what I was about to say. Release them busted, then tune them back.
Yeah, but man, like
It does
it's
feel bad for the time being.
yeah, because it always feels worse when something's just dead and then has to be tuned up. But yeah, it's bad. Um, like I think someone like half of them mentioned like yeah, every time I play a Samurai Jack I win. I have a 0% win loss with or loss ratio with Jack. Give me Aku. Aku would be sick in that game. A little bit more of Escape Academy. I think that's it. I just before earlier today I did that Tekken challenge to get myself my Chipotle merch. Make sure you go do that. And I don't know why I booted up the coin game earlier yesterday. Just cause I really or was it day? I forget what day it is, but just because I really wanted to play those drop coin games, just where you see that where you push the quarters out.
Yeah, coin dozer.
Yeah, those things are fun. I think that's it. Yeah. This week, speaking of stuff that's done, the 360 marketplace is dead.
Pepperoni and
Still a real
cheese.
one.
Yeah. The Xbox dashboard is like super barren now. It's just straight up just says games, social, and settings. So it's not really like isn't it like all the options are gone. On the Xbox Series right now though, they did add a new dynamic theme for the blades.
I seen that.
Yeah, so I've been rocking that right now. End of an era. It sucks. I think the toughest part is this is always a time where everyone posts like their memoriams and how much they talk about like how much it meant to them and all that stuff, which is cool. 360, PS3 was a really really fun generation. I think a special one. I think that was the last bastion before games changed. Whether or not you like them more or not, or okay with it, that's fine. But they've definitely changed since that era. And I think that it means a lot, right? So I mean, like they changed from Xbox, PS2, GameCube to this era for sure. But really, that era is so isolated in what it is, right? It's the new frontier in online stuff, but it's not the norm of where it is now, right? It's not every generation prior to that was really just you get the game, you have the game, you play the game. But 360 PS3 really, and even the Wii, it's just
Era
like
of the season pass.
yeah, they tried a lot of stuff, and some of it wasn't great. But like we never really had the like we got those passes whenever you get the game used or the online passes.
Yeah,
like,
where
that
it's like,
was-
if you want to play
Play
this game
online.
online, or in the case of like, what was it, the Syndicate, if you want to actually play in the game to completion, you had to buy a pass for it as well.
So silly.
Yeah, those moments were weird, but like we didn't really have the massive microtransaction era that we have now, right? Like it was there, but not
It was quaint back then.
Yeah, it wasn't to
Yeah,
the
it wa-
abundance that it was now.
Really, the most it was like you pay like $40 for your season pass with like your 4 maps and your zombie map or whatever.
Or like if you were into fighting games at the time, it was like $2 to $5 for a new character.
Yeah,
And man, I kind of I'd gladly go back to that.
for real. God damn.
Yeah, so we had that. We had I feel like indie games became something then. That's when they started, but they really took hold and took shape. And I think since then the lines blurred a lot. Like, yeah, we do have indie games, but like they really
Dave the Diver indie game.
yeah. The lines get blurred though, right? But like back then it was really genuine and like it was almost an event, right? Like I'll never forget the Summer of Arcade was always like my favorite time for video games because it was like Xbox promising here's 5 banger XBLA games that we've curated that are all good that come out week after week after week after week after week. You're talking Limbo, Trials HD, Splosion Man, some really big heavy hitters that showed up during that, and I think that was cool, right? But I feel like indie games now, they're either made by a developer that you can trust already, or it's something that just like catches someone's eye, like a big YouTuber, and catches a wildfire that way.
Speaking of indie game, Faith, old New Blood game, is getting a physical release too. I seen that before we went live. Not limited run either, like
Hell
SNK is
yeah.
really,
David,
right?
David's in now.
No, well, yeah. Speaking of which, fuck SNK and the US going limited run. I'll be doing the UK import of that one. Fucking audacity,
Monopoly, dude. Any other? I the thing about Sony, it feels like I think someone mentioned, and this is why some of the videos on the Xbox games that disappear put a bunch of ones that were also on Sony. Was because like Sony feels like someone that would shut down their servers tomorrow and not tell anyone.
Oh yeah.
So like with that
Well, I
said,
mean, they were gonna shut down the PSN for PSP, PS3, gave it people a year notice, and then there was so much pushback. They're like, well, I guess people will keep buying. So
I'm surprised Microsoft didn't
unlike
fall into that. Honestly, like that seems like a
I'm not. Microsoft is a company that says, nah, fuck it, we don't want to deal with it, and just gets rid of things.
yeah, but also at least with that, it just, I mean, it's obviously PR speak, right? But they're like we're in game preservation, like not really, but like
No, they're not into game preservation. They're into how can we keep selling you shit. And that's the only reason why there's technically game preservation. Which fuck it, if I can go and take a game from the fucking Xbox original, slap it in, and it digitally downloads a version that works, fine, sure. But let's not kid ourselves here. They just genuinely don't want to deal with maintaining the servers because it's a huge fucking security risk. And on one level, I don't blame them. On the other hand, it's shitty that this is again the cold reality of when there isn't a physical option, and nowadays a reasonably priced physical option.
Speaking of, fuck GameStop for tweeting that shit.
Yeah.
yeah, I liked how
Joe
people
wish you would buy physical now.
people put
Fuck you,
screenshots.
no one asked.
People put pictures of them with all their pops everywhere. They're like, well, I tried. Which to be
Yeah.
fair, like it is kind of hard to find specific games at GameStop now. I feel like
It's hard to find games at GameStop, period. Fucking
Yeah.
mine basically just sells fucking t-shirts, Magic the Gathering cards, and Funko.
yeah, like I feel like if there's ever a like not even like obscure, but like kind of like get like obscure-ish game, like I feel like I have to be lucky that just one just happens to end up at one of my GameStops.
Going to GameStop for cards is so sad. Just go to your local comic shop, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or an actual dedicated card store.
Yeah.
Did you see that the Olympics cut off their deal with Nintendo and Sega to stop doing Mario and Sonic games in favor for
I seen
esports and
that.
NFTs?
Yep.
So sad.
Interesting move.
They
Let's
need
see how
to
that
do
works out.
Mario and Sonic at the big sports championship now.
As a digital JPEG. But yeah, I think that era is something special. I'll miss that era for sure. I think like yeah, I always have a soft spot for other ones like 64, my GameCube obviously, but like I think the 360 was where I truly like you're talking like from teenager to adulthood. That's where we were all at for that console.
Yeah.
Um, so it
Again, the
really
longest running console gen. It was like what, almost 11 years consistent.
2000. No, well I guess if you count how long it was active, but like
Yeah, how long it's active? Because the going from the first release game to the last release game.
okay, yeah.
I suppose technically Wii has the advantage on that one,
Isn't
considering it had a
PS2?
releases later. No, technically Wii has the advantage because of
Just Dance.
Just Dance in 2019.
Yeah, but it was a long one. We're talking it was 2004 or 2005, 2006 to 2013. So
Yeah.
that was the prime era for us. But man, like party chat and stuff like that, so much fun.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember the Netflix watch parties. I've used that like once or twice. Those were cool.
1 versus 100 is an experience that I've been begging for since.
Yep.
I know they know this.
He's hinted at Phil Spencer's hinted at it a few times too. Like it's been something that's been mentioned.
Yeah, and I remember that like it might have been TikTok. It was something, but there was like a TikTok format where that kind of happened, and it got a big resurgence. I just don't think it survived. But I'm like, I feel like it shouldn't be that bad, right? Like you hire the team, hire one host, do it every Friday or something, and I feel like I'd be there. But man, that was fun. But I do know it got abused. I remember people in my group would just spam the fuck out of whoever was the one and would just try to message bomb them and stuff like that. So I mean, there were bad parts there, but it was such a fun experience though. I think there was ever like one time where one of us got into the crowd.
I got into it once. Yeah, I think I got into it once because I got the achievements from it.
Nice. So let's talk about this voice actor strike.
Hell yeah. Understandably, voice actors have already faced major concerns of their voices being recorded and sold to be used in AI, so they just don't ever need to be paid to voice act in something. And where they're already seeing that dystopian reality happening, SAG-AFTRA has officially gone on strike. And it's to the point where they're expecting this to last a long time, like the last one did, because some companies are already talking about whether they're impacted or not. Rockstar has already said that they won't be impacted for Grand Theft Auto 6. So I don't know if that means all their voice stuff is already done, or if they basically have the contract secure until whenever. But yeah. Once again, we're going to see some fascinating things with voice acting and gaming.
How does AI handle different languages, do you think? That's something
It handles it well enough as long as it has enough data to chug through. Like, it's scary how good the AI voices are.
Yeah, I'm just kind of wondering how it handles like I don't know how to phrase it, like how sentencing and like sentence structure, and
Like
stuff
the
like that.
syntax and grammar. As long as it's trained properly in the correct language, it handles it stupidly well. It's concerning.
I mean the thing is also it just constantly gets better and better.
Yeah.
Like, dude, the fact that like a year and a half ago AI was like funny, memey, like, hey, look, it's trying its best. And now it's like I can't tell.
I mean, look at we literally hit fucking Metal Gear, where we're already starting to see this political cycle having deepfake videos trying to influence either side of the fucking candidacy. It's fucking wild.
There was one post I saw from a friend who made a whole rant about how it upset him because he's dealing something where it was like this image of just like a bunch of people like at a beach and everyone was standing and it was like, well, look at how the people used to be back then and how much we fucked ourselves over. in terms of health, and it's like, well, you have a point there, but you used a fucking AI image that everyone just believed without fucking zooming in. So my friend went on a tirade and zoomed into certain parts. Yeah, this person's missing a fucking leg. Does that fucking make sense? Yeah, look, there's a giant like amalgamation of just black blur in this corner. What is that? Just spammed it to every single person on there because it just upset, which is fair. But
Yeah.
it's scary, like wondering.
Yeah, media literacy is at an all-time low, and AI is at an all-time high.
Yeah, and media literacy. Shout out to Drake. I'm gonna have to figure out how to incorporate that into my lessons because yeah, it's like I don't know. That's something we have to deal with, and it's unfortunate. I don't know quite.
Yeah, that's definitely your problem.
Yeah. I don't quite know how to combat it. It's like almost like you have to use it, but like how do you utilize it safely?
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. In terms of creativity, that's just where it irks me. Like, yeah, it's funny every once in a while. There's a bunch of people making country cover songs of how shitty of a person Boogie 2988 is, which is funny to me. But like, we can avoid using it for active creative.
Have we seen
stuff.
to see if that tattoo's legit or not?
It's still on
Has
his
it
face.
washed away? God
It's
damn
on his face. It's faded, but like I
Uh.
also just don't believe he treats it properly because
Right,
I
yeah,
wouldn't believe that. But like people were saying it's fake. I'm like whoever says it's faked, I'm like it would have to been like a really really strong, convincing one because on camera like it bled. Like it was the person had to like do the blood wipe every time they did that. So like it's incredibly convincing if it was, but I think it's real. Like it just because his girlfriend was saying how it looked badass and stuff, so obviously he felt vindicated afterwards, which is literally like the opposite of the point. But I don't know. That whole shit's a train wreck.
yeah, for real.
Yeah, it's a funny mess. But like we can keep it out of the creative side of things. Like I'm it just sucks seeing. It just sucks how we can't continue to use creativity. Everyone said I don't know how tattoos work, so I have no room to speak. Especially like it's like constant needle poking and it's staining the insides, essentially.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not like a drawing thing. It's like constant needle pushing. Because it looks like almost like a pen that you could drag around, but what's actually happening is you're just constantly getting jabbed. Yeah. Also, I guess that's gonna fuck up his beard though, because he's just not gonna be able to grow hair there anymore.
Good, fuck him.
Yeah, actually. Anything else we gotta speak on, David, that you want to touch on?
Yeah, CASA. That passed the Senate.
Okay, explain this.
All right, so CASA is kind of like COPPA on crack, if you remember that back in the day. This is basically what we've been seeing at local levels in some states, like Ohio and Texas, and what we've seen with Great Britain and Spain, where in order to protect the children, we need to do more to crack down on the internet. This passed 93 to 7 in the Senate to go ahead and put forth a bill that basically puts a lot more restrictions on the internet. Websites will have to adhere to basically a strong governance of I can't remember the exact phrasing, but the way it's actually going to work is that if a website is not doing enough to prevent inappropriate material from children, the higher courts can have websites taken down and federal charges placed against it. Now, that's where the gray and horribleness of this comes in, is how do you find what is harmful to children? Especially where many on a certain side of the aisle would deem anything that includes critical race theory or anything that includes inclusivity drag queens or even just outright like, I shit you not, this was in the last time they tried to push this through. One of the Republican candidates said You know, there's just some parts of American history that make children too sad to be posting about online.
Trailer
Like, there's not.
teasers.
So, congratulations. Effectively, what we're going to start seeing, if it passes through the House, and then if it is signed by Biden or whoever may or may not be in charge at the time that it goes through, is we're going to start seeing what some states and some countries already have, where you're going to have to give your government ID to go ahead and get access to certain websites. Anything that basically the country deems as inappropriate for children will start getting hammered down, which again, whoever is in power likes to decide what's inappropriate for children.
Yeah, it's really interesting too because my state's already making it. They're trying to enforce teaching the Bible in public schools.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting where
Which
all
is
that
so
intersects.
bizarre to me because I'm like, all right, so I can teach everything else, right? No.
So much
Did-
for that beautiful
didn't-
separation of church and state.
Didn't
Those
our fucking didn't our entire country just get the fuck away from the other side of the pond for this shit?
Yup.
technically, but it's because they wanted to enforce their own version of it.
Right.
Because that was the whole separation of Protestants and
Luther.
traditional Christians. Yeah.
Yeah, it's frustrating. I think just the internet's just a weird state right now, dude. Like it's so
It's a fucking horrifying state of
Yeah.
affairs that we're in right now.
yeah. I'm glad summer's kind of coming into an end because I won't be able to just sit around bored all day. So I'm gonna stop trolling on Twitter so much. I don't know, man. People are just fucking weird, dude. Like it's I can't tell if people are more weird, which would be appropriate, right? Because it's like everyone's so overloaded with just constant barrage of just
Everyone's
that.
so interconnected
Or
now.
if it's just everyone's always been like this and it just allowed everyone the outlet to vocalize themselves.
I think it's that, honestly.
I could see both ends of that. What was it? Did you guys see that? I know I feel like I'm being so stupid because I'm just so tied up to this, and again, it's because I'm bored. That Sneeko and Moist Critical thing that happened.
Yeah.
I don't
see
know
a
who the
little bit
fuck
on
that
it.
is.
You know, Moist Critical is the
Those
I
are the
vaguely know
new
of him.
Pokemons.
yeah, he's the dude with long hair
Yeah.
and beard dude, that's like all over kind of.
Yeah, I know of him,
Okay.
but I don't know what the fuck a Sneeko is.
Sneeko's a fucking weirdo. That's all I
They're
really.
all fucking weirdos.
I don't
He's
mind.
a kick streamer now, so that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah. I'm not gonna ever evangelize people these days. Shout outs to like the whole Chris Tyson thing. You should
Ooh.
never. That was remember when Sunny V2 did that video on Mr. Beast saying that the person there that was trans is gonna be the.
Yeah.
Well, turns out the prophecy was true. It was just very unfortunately predicted.
Not because they were trans, but because they're a fucking animal.
Yeah, but
in
because
general.
they're because trans is quote unquote to these people like a mental illness. They pick on them, and when they happen to get one right, oh fuck, oh that's that. Oh look, it's like that. Never
Gotcha.
mind, all that other shit. Like never mind that Doctor Disrespect is a straight white guy, but hey. But and I don't mind Moist Critical. Like they're
I
constant.
mean, we can't even agree when the person that attempted to kill Trump, who has been proven year over year was Republican leaning, had anti-Semitic and other anti-minority rhetoric that he believed and spoke about. Nah, he was a deep plant by the
He's
radical
a deep
left.
fake.
He was a real life deep fake.
Yeah, so I don't mind. I don't mind Moist Critical. Like I'll watch their content, but I don't evangelize. I'm not gonna like die on this hill. Like same way with like people like on either Kendrick or Drake side. Like I like Kendrick much more as an artist, but like I'm sure. I mean, Kendrick went out and made a whole album about how he's also not a great person either. So like that's why you don't evangelize people. It already kind of nailed it. Sneeko is essentially Tate Jr.
Gotcha.
And so they go back and forth, and I guess they had a debate last week, which to fucking Moist Critical's he should. Debating against Nico should be like a win against like everyone. Like if you're above like the 10th grade, you should be able to win a debate against Nico. Dude was like saying that there should be no age of consent. It should be based off your maturity level.
Oh god, he's one of those fucks.
Which is
okay.
fucking like I get like how the fuck do you evaluate that? But was like dying on the hill about that. So you would think that's like an argument you would win. And to be fair, like
That's also a giant fucking red flag of like this person can't be trusted.
right. But like you would think Moist Critical would win that, but like you got flustered, and then I guess there was a point. I gotta watch it, but I guess there was a point where they were like talking about like trans kids and should they be allowed procedures prior to the age of 18, which Moist Critical was okay with, which got him backfired on. Which people are usually very positive about him, like universally, but like that got him some backfire. He's known as like a quote unquote fence sitter, which I can understand. Just tends to pick like the most like easiest like lob up point and just says the thing that rational people would agree with. But that got them whole thing. And so what was it? I saw someone complaining because people lump in on stuff, and I said no one. I was jumping on that because like it's unfortunate that whole Chris Tyson thing came out because it does just for a lot of shit people just like solidify the whole like, well, if they're trans, they're pedophiles. But I jumped in on something and some fucking dummy just did not grasp what the conversation was, and I was just kind of just laughing at two Sneeko fans, and they didn't realize that. And so after just back and forth of calling me all these weird accusations that they just pulled up, they said I look Jewish. I'm like, I'm Mexican. They said my hairline's really bad, which my hairline's pretty rock solid. It's the other end they got to go with, but like they're saying that. They're like, you're Jewish. I gave them my 23andMe, which puts me at 1.4% Ashkenazi Jewish or Ashkenazi, and they said, oh, that makes sense about your nose. I was like, oh. They put a picture of me and David up there and called you Fat David. But I was like, yeah, he knows he's fat. Okay.
Yeah, no shit. Tell me something I don't know.
Yeah. And then I broke it down, and I'm like, because he kept calling me gay, but then said I had a wife, and I'm like, I don't know, you're all over the place, dude. And then
I need to go. Was this on Twitter? Because I need to now read through.
Oh
this.
yeah, go ahead. It's going through my Twitter replies is I don't recommend anyone do it just because like I'm always arguing with someone just because it's funny, and I'm bored. There's someone right now going back and forth with me about that whole Sunny V2 thing. I'm like, yeah, they're anti-trans. No, they're not. Okay, but I went back and forth with them, and then I'm like, okay, but for real, like, why? Let's break this down for a second, because they're like, because they were complaining about something. They said they said you like Sneeko and Dr. Disrespect. I'm like, hold up, no, I'm literally making fun of Sneeko fans. Is that why you're saying I'm into kids because you think I'm a Sneeko fan? You look like one. I'm like, I'm not. I don't like that guy at all. And then he called me a Dr. Disrespect fan. I looked at his followers and I saw he's following Dr. Disrespect. I'm like, okay, so explain this. And then he went through my profile and found everyone that has like a pride flag and said, "Or I bet you know this person in real life. That's fucking weird." I'm like, yeah, I do know them. And I was like, look, before
why is it? Was this supposed to be some weird guy?
Like, you surround yourself by a lot of homosexuals. I'm like, I follow 900 people, dude. You pulled out 4 people. It's like that's not that many, nor does it matter. Like, okay. And then what was I asked them breaking down? I was like, okay, so why are you pulling this? Why'd you pull Jewish out of nowhere? Because he hates Jewish people. And I'm like, okay. And so like I just dug into that character for a second. I'm like, okay, so you don't like them, why? Because there are people on this and that. I'm like, well, it's unfortunate that you can't think.
He was really upset with how Larry David ended off Seinfeld.
But it's like that's just kind of those people, which is like they're just gonna live and die like that mindset, which is unfortunate, right? But like, I don't know, like that's it's just gross, weird stuff like that. But yeah, you go back to like it's media literacy's fucked. I think a lot of people just are gonna be divided. I don't see, unless it's literally aliens come down from the fucking skies above and attack us, and we as a planet have to unite against them. I don't see
Yeah, we can figure out collectively a racist term for the aliens. What Sergeant Johnson called the elites? He called them slit jaws.
That sounds fucked
Fuck.
up.
Exactly. Like,
um,
I'm pretty sure there's other like racist terms that they had to.
it's gonna be like 9/11, but in the sky. Sky's higher than the towers. And like when then, but right, like think about that. Like literally, 9/11 was like the only time that like America was like united for a second. And then everyone collectively fell apart to an extraordinary degree. That I think it would be just like something from above falling down and like attacking for everyone to get the fuck along. Because are you reading the replies, David?
I just finally got to this, dude, because you weren't kidding. There's definitely a lot of beef you get into, but
Yeah,
holy fuck,
it,
this is
yeah.
a lot to unpack.
This is
Uh,
why I need. So I'm thinking, and I'm saying this like in a funny way because it kind of is, but also because I do get too bored. I'm thinking next time I'm just gonna uninstall some social apps and just get some more games done because like I get so bored that I just want to fuck with people because like it's kind of fascinating to me honestly. Like from a psychological standpoint, uh, I love to converse with some fucking weirdos just because like I want to know why are you like the way you are, like genuinely, like not even like trying to ridicule you, but I'm genuinely curious. How do you end up in this place, right? It kind of stems from like having to do so much psychology inside of like a juvenile center and having to like talk to like these kids and to a point where like you killed someone. Why? Like, you know? But it's like I like to get into the psyche of things. That's just kind of like always been my interest, and I just like to prod at that interest of my own whenever I like fuck with people online because I'm like, why are you the way you are? And yeah, you can see that guy is incredibly unhinged. Um,
Jesus Christ, this guy
yeah.
truly needs some therapy. Like, it's holy fuck.
Mm-hmm. That's just something I do. Uh, and they're just fucking weird, dude. They are just really weird people. I don't understand the way they do things, and it's unfortunate because like they're not gonna change. It would take someone in their personal bubble to like sit them the fuck down and give them the hard truth, but uh, they don't have that. A lot of times it's these people that are very much alone, and that's all they do all day. But yeah, I don't know. It's a weird place. Twitter's a weird place. Internet's a weird place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not excited for more AI shit. It was funny at first. I'm not laughing anymore. Except when it's a really funny song. Then I'll laugh a little bit. Yeah, probably says sometimes I hate that this is the generation I'm associated with. We're all kind of we're lumped in this together. I think there's a lot of
I feel like that does happen every generation, though. Like,
yeah.
there's always some generation that will make amazing strides in one way, but then there's that other grittier side that's like, that's all fucking embarrassing.
I'm just hoping that the next one following this the Zoomers just disconnects. I think that is something that we need to.
I mean, we have to wait for Gen Alpha for that to hopefully happen. Gen Z is fucking wired.
Yeah, Zoomers are zooming all over the place.
Yeah.
Um,
Although not, again, frustrating that they're so fucking wired into everything, but also some of the most tech illiterate fucking generation.
incredibly tech
Yeah.
illiterate, dude. It's astonishing how many, dude. Like among all the teachers, like it's like they don't even Google shit. They say something or they ask a question. If they don't get the answer like given to them, they just shut down. It's an epidemic. I'm at this point like, no. Hey, I've been told. I've been asked a lot of times. How do you spell this? I'm like, you can literally yell at your phone to spell it for you. Why are you asking me? And these are seniors. But I'm.
Welcome to the real world, kids.
Yep. We'll see. I always find it fascinating that as I've stepped into teaching is among all those times where all the old teachers are like, this teaching sucks now. I hate it. It's harder than ever. I'm like, well, this is all I know. I was born in it, molded by it. I think they'll change when they get older. That seems to happen with most people. They grow out of mindset sometimes. I don't know, dude. The phone is an actual issue with people. It's an issue with me. Like that's why I can't get games done. I'm like starting Alone in the Dark right now, but it's just hard for me to disconnect. Just like start it. Need to active. I need to utilize my brick a little bit more and start doing that. David, you still reading?
Yeah, I'm still fucking this. This is fucking wild.
I should make that my segment. Who are you arguing with this week? Which banger?
That's the pick of me he used.
Yeah. He said my nose looked big. I'm like, I've never heard in my life.
Oh.
No one's ever made fun of my nose. out of everything you pick, like my nose is not something. Also, I've never been called Jewish either. It's very interesting to me. Also, like,
That's fucking hilarious.
also like you have to scroll for that picture, by the way. Like I scrolled a little bit to find that picture on my timeline before they used that picture, and I was like, you're really looking up for stuff on me, dude. It's weird. That's the only thing I worry about sometimes. I'm like, I worry there's gonna be some fucking weirdo that's like, for some reason tries to go overboard and like dox me or something. I'm like, why? Why? I'm just arguing with why you're dumb. Sorry if that's offensive to you. Have you ever noticed too the people that are like the ones that you would like probably like shout snowflake like 5 years ago are the ones that are easily triggered?
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. That's how it
They
always
were back then too.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe they want to be called a sheep. Fuck this, my life is ruined. Okay. All right. April says,
Well, if you say anything about the Last Supper or do anything remotely depicting it, they'll fucking freak the fuck out.
if you take a knee during the fucking
Yeah. The national anthem.
yeah
That is sacred.
yeah,
Okay, I'm here.
I've always found the argument how burning the flag is wrong. I understand, but like, it's such a weird conflict. You know what I mean? Like, I'll
Especially considering it's something that is thematically protected by the Constitution. So anyone, again, anyone showing rebellion is living up to the whole point of what America, if by all these people that love the Constitution, was set up for and is trying to be.
right. And again, I understand. I'm not putting like my actual hat in that, but like, that's a pretty quick example of like, well, do you believe people should not do that? No, it's wrong. Okay, but like, how is that different than like every room has to have a picture of Kim Jong Un, right? Like, don't disrespect that.
Yeah, and why is that disrespecting the flag, but like fucking wearing boxers with the flag, getting your shit stains all over the theoretical flag, not fucking terrible.
Or waving
Right.
around a Confederate flag.
Yeah, fucking traitor nation, but
Well, it's like the thing people always like point at North Korea and them like doing their national anthem, saluting and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, this is so creepy." Meanwhile, like
Pledge of Allegiance.
every elementary school, every school across the nation, doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mm-hmm. And now they want to
Just
bring
as
the
creepy,
Bible
bro.
in,
Yep.
bring it all the way back to where we started.
I'm so glad I'm out of school and don't have to deal with that now. I'd be so pissed. All right, kids, open up your Bible. Fuck. Seminary class this is bullshit.
Oh, well, we're in our fantasy unit.
Yeah, ready to read a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah, the New York Times bestseller fantasy book, the Bible. Oh no, upset
I think I
someone.
dropped the Bible too.
We would never have to do that here. I would assume not. There'd be a lot of pushback, but I would not like to be in a state right now that has to deal with that. That's not a fun time. Hey, what were you say?
I was gonna say we've had like independent school districts like push back on it, but they're like slowly and steadily trying to define it more and make it to where like it's not like a you get to choose type of situation.
How's that? I don't know. I would love to get into the minds of people that just really believe in that.
It's just pure delusion. Our state superintendent, he's a known fucking psychopath. His whole shtick before he got put into power is people always knew him from making like deranged Facebook videos where he's like in his car on his lunch break, just like yelling into his cell phone about like trans people or like drag shows or some shit. And then like all of a sudden, next thing you know, like he got elevated to a position of power. It's like, whoa, how did we get here?
It's funny because we're halfway through, but girlfriend and I are watching The Order of the Phoenix,
Mm-hmm.
and which is also a very political movie, just with
Yeah.
Umbridge just coming in there and like, well, we're gonna start doing things this way. I'm like, oh man, this really, I don't want to be watching this right before I start working. All this shit's going on right now. Get her out of here. Fuck this. Yeah, I don't know. I can go on and on just how it just fucking weird it is that people are so overly obsessive with that, and they're so projectfully hateful in one way, but like can't look in the mirror for the life of them, you know?
Right.
But
I mean, everyone's the hero of their own story.
And how like dumb do you have to be to think that every child going to your school is gonna be Christian? Like, come on, come the fuck on.
ironically enough, I feel like if you do that, you're gonna make more not.
Yeah, exactly. You're like,
In fact, you know what? Fuck it, let's do it. Fuck it. Rebellion time. Let's show them.
Yeah, are you fucking stupid? You're not gonna force a kid to get into the Bible that doesn't want to get into.
Yeah, that was one of my girlfriend's first like kind of questions to me was, "What's your thoughts on organized religion?" I'm like, I don't really give a shit. I'm not religious, but like,
I'm too busy for that.
yeah. And she's like, "Cool. My mom forced a lot of Christianity values on me, and I'm not about it anymore. So fuck that." I'm like,
Hell
cool,
yeah.
welcome aboard.
Nice. I think dinosaurs are real too.
Yeah.
Sister.
She likes dinosaurs a lot, so that's probably why. You're not gonna fuck up my nuggies. Yeah, can we make a skit about that where it's like, all right, well, we're gonna cancel dinosaur nuggets. We're gonna make cross nuggies now.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
no. I just saw that the runtime for SummerSlam is going to be 8 hours,
Oh my god.
Hell
That's
yeah.
a full work day of just wrestling.
and it's because they've confirmed that they wanted to run an even longer pre-show, basically to dip into AEW's runtime and take viewership away from them. And then of course now they do the post-event conferences like it's a real fucking fight event. But
Yeah, like a UFC event or some shit.
oh, Kels and I were talking about this the other day, but Gunter is a man that fucking slaps. Jesus Christ. Fucking hell.
That's disgusting.
All right.
That's-
Everybody says I believe in El Chupacabra personally. I'm not much of a dinosaur person anymore. That's understandable. Believe in what you
As
want.
long as you believe in something, be a man of principle.
Yeah.
Believe in these nuts.
There you go. Why can't it just be people respect each other and just worry about your own shit? If you guys spend more time hating one specific type of person and talking about that, then maybe you should go reevaluate.
Well, they're usually closeted gay men in their 40s.
Yeah.
That's usually the
Also,
issue there.
if your biggest fucking gripe about something existing is how am I going to explain that to my children, that is literally your job as a fucking
Yeah.
parent is to explain the world to your children.
Yeah, that's just your shortcomings, buddy.
Also,
That's
stop
not
thinking
my
about
problem.
other people's dicks so much. Maybe
Yeah.
that should be a thing too. I
Yeah.
don't like
And
this.
stop
Let's not-
fucking couches. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Stop fucking couches.
I think we mentioned this before, but it was how we did the person that runs like the CEO of Grindr mentions how the Republican National Convention is just straight up like Super Bowl where you just go in there and
Yeah.
there's so many people. Good for them. Not for those guys, but like good for Grindr, I guess. They get some money.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. think that's about it. April Rain said,
Hell
"quote
yeah.
unquote, stop looking at my crotch."
Never.
I did like that post where someone's like, "See, this Deadpool and Wolverine's perfect how it was. No, it's not this woke bullshit. Just two heterosexual guys just
Yeah.
fucking shit up." And everyone's like, "Did you
Did
not
you not
hear
pay attention to
every?
the dialogue?
Did you not hear every time where Deadpool got a massive erection due to Hugh Jackman?" No, all
Yeah,
right.
and it's so funny. I had a friend mention that to me. It's like, yeah, it's not like Deadpool like inserts a femur into someone's crotch and then jerks it off within like the first like 5 minutes of the movie. Nothing heterosexual about that.
Yes, this is a very straight image right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Deadpool was really thinking straight with these blowjob handles. All right.
Again, media literacy is dead.
Yeah, he literally sticks a ring pop up his ass in the first movie.
The whole running joke of International Women's Day of him getting pegged.
Hey, talk about pegging the first 3 minutes of the film. All right, that's it for the recording. Pegging. All right.
Disco dust.
What was it? Bruvian something Disco Dusk. Angel Flakes, I think, or something. I wish I could remember all those.
Yeah.
Do you want to build a snowman? Yes, but I can't. Yeah, we're gonna watch that soon. I'm going back tomorrow. I'm excited. Straight up, the first 10 minutes of the film, just literally just the most. You couldn't write that scene more to me. All right, off the stream. Hey, Brony. See you.
See ya.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.